Beginning with a gentle golden wind and light rain, the master of ceremonies, with a single stroke, surprises the world. This video is purely for entertainment, and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting, and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226, The Two Swordsmen, As Long as They Believe. Chen was calm and in meditation, practicing the heavenly demon Zen seal. But other places seemed very uneasy. The three killer monks entered the city. Many people knew about it. County Magistrate's mansion Wen Yifan and Chen were in the study. Wen Yifan was the initiator of the incident, so of course he was concerned about the situation of the three killer monks. But now the three killer monks were crushed and killed by Guan Qi of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower, and the golden plum bottle was also obtained by Guan Qi. I didn't expect that Xian'ai Pavilion had sent someone to take charge. I made some mistakes in my calculations this time, and I thought that the Golden Wind and Rain Tower could not hold up. Wen Yifan said in a deep voice. Now the Golden Wind and Rain Tower not only held up, but also killed the three killer monks, which also frustrated the arrogance of the Qinglang Temple. But in this way, they have become a main force against the Qinglang Temple. Brother Wen, we should contact them when we have time. Chen, who was opposite him, said. Even if I don't go to see them, they will come to see me. Wen Yifan said in a deep voice. Release the news yourself. How could the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower give up when it has such strength? Notify Helion's Ioao to come back. This kid has a strong sense of crisis. He left in a hurry after I left. Let him come back and continue to contact the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. Wen Yifan said. Let's put the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower's matter aside for now. What do you think of Xian'ai's death? Who do you think did it? Chen asked, changing the subject. It should be someone arranged by Li Wei to do it. I thought Li Wei would not do it. It turns out he was waiting for such an opportunity. I underestimated him before. Wen Yifan said. Everyone's eyes were focused on the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower and the three killer monks, but he arranged for someone to kill Xian'ai. It was unexpected. It's normal that Li Wei can sit in the position of left governor for so many years. But even if he is not simple, what can he do? His strength is at most at the level of unity of spirit and soul. Killing him is as easy as pie. Do you want me to kill him for you? Chen said. Killing him is very simple, but if I kill him, I might be in danger. This Li Wei was left in Lingnan County to balance me. Let him live for a while, and when I become the governor of the 9 northern counties, it won't be too late to kill him. Wen Yifan said. On the other side, Li Wei was sitting in the study, thinking alone. Today, Chen said that he would kill Xian'ai, and he got the news in the evening. This Chen is not only powerful, but also knows how to use momentum. I just don't know how he killed Xian'ai. I will have someone take a close look at Xian'ai's body tomorrow. Li Wei thought to himself. He wanted to analyze Chen's killing method from Xian'ai's body. Of course, he now began to pay attention to Chen. Maybe we can enter a deeper level of cooperation with this Chen. But this time, the three killer monks of Qinglang Temple died in Jinfengxiu Tower, and the golden plum bottle was lost. I don't know what Qinglang Temple will do, Li Wei murmured. In Lingnan County, many people stayed awake all night. The next day, the three killer monks of Qinglang Temple died at the hands of Guan Qi of Jinfengxiu Tower. The news that the golden plum bottle was obtained by Guan Qi was discussed by people. Guan Qi of Jinfengxiu Tower is really strong. It is not difficult for him to kill 3 people alone. I'm afraid that Guan Qi may be the strongest person in Lingnan County for the time being. What kind of power is Xian'ai Pavilion behind Jinfengxiu Tower? How can it be so strong? Many people said. Who knows? Xian'ai Pavilion has never appeared before. But Guan Qi is very strong. But I'm afraid he can't protect the golden plum bottle. Last night, the power of the golden plum bottle was really magical. It was able to be saved, even if the throat was pierced. Once this news comes out, someone will definitely come to rob it. One person said. It's so powerful. How can a bottle have such magical power? Some people said puzzled. Who knows, but it is rumored that this golden plum bottle was circulated in a secret place in Dachu. It's impossible. With such a treasure, that you can still perish. Some people don't believe it. In the end, Su Chen opened his eyes from his meditation. Now he has cultivated the heavenly demon Zen seal. A black key began to flow in his palm. These black key were as agile as silk threads, and then a black mark was vaguely formed. When the mark appeared, a wave of ki flowed out from the mark. Su Chen clenched his palm, and the mark disappeared. Although the power is quite strong, it consumes a lot. I estimate that, after using it twice, there will be very little ki left in my body. Su Chen sensed the power of ki in his body and frowned slightly. It can't be used as a conventional means. It can only be used as a trump card. Su Chen thought to himself. Now according to his strength, using the heavenly demon Zen seal can definitely severely damage the strong man with the unity of spirit and soul. I still need to continue practicing to improve my strength. Su Chen got off the bed. After a simple wash, he walked out of the inn. The sound of discussion in the hall was endless and very lively. Su Chen didn't care and ate something simple. Then he returned to the mountain and river gate. This time when he went down the mountain, he made a fortune. He got the golden plum bottle, practiced the heavenly demon Zen seal method, got the deed of the restaurant and bank from Li Wei, and got 2 orange lottery cards. This is a huge harvest. As long as they shine An's industry, then I will meet him after Li Wei takes over. Inside the Shan gate, Cui Wu has returned, and there are 2 people following him. They are 2 men with long swords on their backs. The aura emanating from these 2 people is extremely sharp. The 2 of you will return later. Please restrain your own aura. You must respect the master. Cui Wu said. Behind him, the 2 looked at each other with a hint of bitterness in their eyes. There was a hint of fear in the resentful eyes looking at Cui Wu. This guy is a lunatic. I don't know how he knew that the 2 of them were born in the village, and he also investigated some of their details. Threatened them with the entire village to join the Shan gate. They know about the Shan gate. A very young man who has just taken charge of the Shan gate. Such a person simply cannot survive in Lingnan County today. While they were thinking in their hearts, Su Chen had already stepped into the hall. Meet the master. Cui Wu immediately greeted Su Chen when he saw him. Su Chen looked at Cui Wu with a satisfied look on his face. Cui Wu had contributed 2 orange lottery cards to him. He deserves credit. Then his eyes swept over the other 2 people standing in the hall. Why don't you come and greet the master? Cui Wu saw that the 2 did not greet him, and his face turned cold. The 2 immediately greeted Su Chen. Master, I didn't find the shadow, and Qiu Hensheng didn't join, and I killed him. These 2 decided to join our Shan sect. Cui Wu then spoke. 2 strange swordsmen. Su Chen looked at the 2, and suddenly a huge amount of energy and blood burst out of his body, pressing on the 2. Although he didn't know how Cui Wu got the 2 to join, there was a kind of unconvinced aura on them. He wanted to suppress it. The Shan sect only believed in him. Chapter 227, 5 Poison Boys, Love Flower Treasure Mirror. Inside the hall, the 2 strange swordsmen sensed the suppression of ki from Su Chen, and their faces changed instantly. A sharp sword energy appeared around them, trying to tear apart Su Chen's suppression of ki. But the sword energy they burst out seemed to encounter a swamp, sinking into it, and had no effect. Double strange swordsmen, brothers of the KO family, show your full strength. Let me see what's special about you 2 strange swordsmen. Although you have been recruited, your strength is too weak, and you can't work under me. Su Chen said coldly. The purpose of recruiting these people is to introduce the people who appeared on his side. So these people are dispensable. Hearing Su Chen's words, the 2 looked at each other. The long swords on their backs were unsheathed in an instant and fell into their hands, one with the left hand and the other with the right hand, and they felt complementary to each other. Then I'm sorry. At the same time that Koda spoke, the 2 instantly attacked Su Chen. Su Chen clenched his palms into fists, and his fists were covered with iron. He punched out with both fists, and his fists collided with the stabbing long sword. Clang clang. There was a sound of metal and iron intersecting. The arm is as hard as iron. Seeing this, the faces of the 2 brothers of the KO family changed. Suddenly, they increased the speed of their swords, and the swordsmanship of the 2 began to change. The direction of the attack became vicious and weird. The two strange swordsmen, they used weird sword moves. The sword moves changed without traces, and the speed became faster. They wanted to reverse this unfavorable situation. When their sword moves changed, a burst of energy appeared around Su Chen, and his whole body seemed to have a layer of golden un. When the sword moves touched the opponent, it still couldn't penetrate Su Chen's defense. The two did not expect this to happen. I'm a little disappointed with your strength. It seems that you haven't shown your best skills. Let me put some more pressure on you, Vajra demon. Boom. Su Chen's aura began to surge, and a violent and fierce energy surged out of his body. Then he kicked the ground with his foot, and a crack appeared on the floor tile in an instant, and his body shot directly at the two. Fists blasted out. Seeing this, the two hurried to resist. Bang! Ki burst out from the two swords, but they were still knocked back by Su Chen's punch. The moment the two people who were knocked back stabilized their bodies, a sharp sword energy appeared in their bodies. Since the headmaster wants to see my trump card, then let's show it to the headmaster. The KO brothers were also really angry at this moment, and they directly used their trump cards. Boom. The ki on their bodies burst out, and the strength of the peak of soul refining was fully unleashed. The ki surged, and it suddenly spread around like a terrifying force, and there was also a sharp sword energy in this aura, which immediately made Su Chen feel suppressed in his realm. This still needs to be suppressed, otherwise, if I suppress my own strength and fight against myself, how can I subdue them? Looking at this amazing sword energy, Su Chen thought in his heart. While speaking, his body shot straight towards the two people. What he showed now was the strength of his physical body, and he also wanted to use his physical strength to violently subdue the two people. King Kong Zenshin. Su Chen's body began to change at this moment. His body was like a huge mountain. He kicked the ground with his feet and shot out directly. He slapped his hands with his palms. His palms slapped out like a huge millstone, with strong power fluctuations, attacking the two people. Cui Woohoo, who was watching the battle, saw Su Chen's power fluctuations at this time. There was a gleam in his eyes. The power of the headmaster is so terrifying. Cui Woohoo exclaimed in amazement. Boom. At this time, the KO brothers also drew their swords. In an instant, their palms collided with their swords. Two terrifying ki burst out at this moment. Bang! The air collided with this ki, making a sound like a tide. Su Chen's body retreated, stepped on the ground, and took a few steps back. His feet collided with the ground, and several deep pits appeared directly, and it also made the whole hole shake a little. On the other side, the KO brothers were shaken and flew backwards. Their sword energy was sharp, but they could not break Su Chen's defense. So under Su Chen's violent power, they were shaken, and hit the wall. Puff! The two spurted blood from their mouths, and their bodies fell to the ground, as if struck by lightning. Their bodies were like being eroded by a flame, and the internal ki was like a boiling flame, burning them. This made them extremely horrified. They didn't think much of Su Chen before, who would obey him if he took advantage of the situation to become the head of Shanman. But they didn't expect that the other party was so strong. These two people will be under your management in the future, Su Chen said to Cui Woohoo. Although he didn't know how Cui Woohoo got these two people to join Shanman, he was very satisfied with the result. Cui Woohoo's strength was a little worse, but with the assistance of these two people, he would definitely be able to do more things. Thank you, head. Cui Woohoo knelt down in front of Su Chen and thanked him. The KO brothers were already supporting each other at this moment, and saluted Su Chen. Take them down, and heal their wounds. My Shanman still needs to grow stronger, Su Chen said. Yes. Cui Woohoo took the two away. This ground needs to be repaired again. I didn't expect that I'm such a violent person. Su Chen couldn't help but say as he looked at the ground. Then he turned around and stepped out of the master's hall and returned to his own cultivation cave. He continued to take out the golden plum bottle to study it. Obtain the golden plum bottle, complete the task, and reward one side effect elimination card. HMM. Su Chen was stunned. He didn't expect the task reward to come at this time. He thought he could get it just after he got the golden plum bottle. Side effect elimination card should be just a chicken rib. It should be useless. Su Chen thought in his heart. He is now practicing the heavenly demon Zen seal method, and he is not at all opposed to the demonic energy in the golden plum bottle. So whether there is this reward or not is of little use to him. Check this side effect elimination card. After checking, Su Chen's eyes lit up. Because this side effect card can be used not only by him, but also by others. This side effect card is used on Guan Qi. Su Chen thought for a while, and decided to give this side effect card to Guan Qi. The outside world knows that Guan Qi has obtained the golden plum bottle. If Guan Qi has the golden plum bottle in the later stage of the battle, then his combat power will definitely be improved a lot. Guan Qi, who is not afraid of death, can imagine how terrifying it is. Then it sounded. When I got the golden plum bottle, I got 2 orange lottery cards. I drew them without hesitation. After all, there is no hint for the orange lottery cards. So there is no need to keep more. Draw 2 cards first, and keep 1 card. Congratulations to the host for getting the character Wu Du Tongzi and getting an Lion Hua Bao Jian infusion card. This, Su Chen was pleasantly surprised. Wu Du Tongzi is a character in Gulong's novel, The Sentimental Swordsman and the Ruthless Sword. His martial arts may not be very high, but his use of poison can be ranked 3rd. It can be said that his skill in using poison has reached the pinnacle. Chapter 228 Hellion Xiaoyao reappears and threatens. The 5 poison boys are short like children, and are famous for their poison. They can use any plant or animal as a medium to produce poison to kill people. Everyone in the martial arts world is terrified. Their special move is the bliss bug, which is the result of the mating of 7 kinds of divine creatures. They cannot be happy without flesh and blood. In the process of hunting down Li Zunhun, they killed 392 people without showing their faces. There is a very scary scene. Masters in Mui and Xian Qi exchanged food many times to avoid being poisoned. As a result, the people around them were fine, but when it was their turn to eat, they were still poisoned. This shows how unpredictable the 5 poison boys are in using poison. Su Chen didn't expect that he would draw such a person. As for the Lianhua treasure mirror, it was written by the great hero Wang Lianhua in the unofficial history of the martial world with all his life's efforts. It not only contains his martial arts skills, but also records his poisoning skills, disguise skills, Mao people's goo, and mind control skills from Persia. It can be said that with this thing, Su Chen has mastered the disguise. He is interested in poison, goo and mind control. Of course, Su Chen still looked at the realm of the 5 poison boy. He has not reached the realm of heaven and man, but he is only the unity of spirit and soul. However, if he encounters some warriors in the realm of heaven and man, the 5 poison boy can kill them. Find an opportunity to summon the 5 poison boy and keep him by his side. The 5 poison boy is short and small, like a child, and it is completely fine to follow him. Then he began to install a love flower treasure mirror. Suddenly, a figure appeared in Su Chen's mind, and this figure began to teach him the knowledge in the love flower treasure mirror. Just one time, Su Chen remembered it completely. It seemed to be imprinted in his mind. After a while, Su Chen opened his eyes. This is a big harvest. Su Chen stood up and stepped out of the cave. It is winter now, and the air is cold. The 3 killer monks were killed, and the Qinglang temple made a lot of noise before, which had an impact. I don't know if other people have taken action. Su Chen thought to himself. At this time, at the gate of Lingnan County, a luxurious carriage was moving forward. The carriage was different from the outside world. It was warm. Hellion Xiaoyao was lying on the carriage, drinking hot wine. I didn't expect that such a thing would happen just a few days after leaving. Hellion Xiaoyao shook his head after drinking a glass of hot wine. Master, where are we going now? Said the strong man driving the carriage outside the carriage. Go to Jinfeng Xiao Tower. I'll apologize and send things. Hellion Xiaoyao's face was very bad. Let yourself bear the mistakes made by others. I'm afraid there will be a big bleed this time. After a while, Hellion Xiaoyao's carriage stopped in front of Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Wearing a fur coat, he walked into Jinfeng Xiao Tower. But at this time, Nalan Rangan appeared in front of Hellion Xiaoyao. Commander Hellion, you dare to come to my Jinfeng Xiao Tower? Aren't you afraid that our building owner will kill you? Nalan Rangan looked at Hellion Xiaoyao and said, I'm here to apologize. I don't think the Bay building owner will kill me. Please help Miss Nalan to report it. Hellion Zioao said. Looking at Hellion Zioao, Nalan Rangan said, Commander Hellion, please come in. Our host misses you very much. He often says that the gift Commander Hellion gave last time was a little small. He heard Nalan Rangan's words. Hellion Zioao was stunned. He wanted to sigh, but he didn't. He knew in his heart that Betrayals thought the gift he gave last time was too little. That was 1 million teals of silver. Master Bay will definitely like my gift this time. Hellion Zioao said. Nalan Rangan said nothing more. After a while, Nalan Rangan knocked on Betrayals' door. Commander Hellion, please come in. After saying that, she turned and left. Hellion Zioao pushed open the door. Betrayals was in the room. A force of energy locked on him. Commander Hellion, I didn't expect you to come back. Betrayals looked at Hellion Zioao and said, Brother Bay, you are joking. I'm the commander of the Lingnan County Pacification Division. How can I not come back? Of course, when I went out this time, I found some things for Brother Bay. I believe Brother Bay will definitely like it. Hellion Zioao was talking. He took out a yellowed book from his arms. He put it directly on the table. 3 fingers of Azure Dragon. Betrayals looked at Hellion Zioao. This is a fingering secret book that I got accidentally. Although there are 2 words of Azure Dragon in the name, it has nothing to do with the Azure Dragon Temple. This is for Brother Bay, and this is the 2 million teals of silver notes I prepared. I believe it will be very beneficial to the future development of Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Hellion Zioao said. I didn't expect Commander Hellion to be so generous, so I will accept it. I will help you suppress this matter, but next time, I won't be able to suppress it. But some things were planted by Commander Hellion, and now you need to give me a solution. Betrayals said. Solution? Hellion Zioao was stunned when he heard it. Tell us your plan. We, the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, can't stand in the way. Our Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower could have expanded rapidly in this storm, but what about now? We can't open a branch building. Once we open a branch building, we may face the Azure Dragon Temple. This may be what you want to see, but it's not what we want. You should have a detailed plan to deal with the Azure Dragon Temple. Tell me. Otherwise, I can let you go, but I don't know about the others. Betrayals said. Hearing Betrayals' words, Hellion Zioao's face changed. The threat in the words was very obvious. The money spent was a bit unfair. No wonder it was collected so readily. It turned out that the pit was dug here. I don't know much about this matter. To deal with Qinglang Temple, the main forces this time are the 3rd Prince and the 7th Prince. I belong to the 3rd Prince's faction. The one sent by the 7th Prince is Jiuao Shenzhen, but there should be someone behind Jiuao Shenzhen. As for who it is, I don't know. But this time, there should be a big force involved in the 9 northern counties. You can contact the county governor, Lord Wen, for the specific way to do this. He is one of the representatives of the 3rd Prince's faction in the 9 northern counties. He notified me to come back. He should be thinking of joining forces with you. Hellion Zioao said. When Yifan. Betrayals said in a deep voice, we also want to see him. You go and tell Wen Yifan that Lord Guanqi and I will go to the county governor's mansion tomorrow. I hope the county governor will give us a satisfactory answer. Otherwise, Lord Wen will not be able to leave Lingnan County. This is not what I said. It was said by our young pavilion master. Betrayals added a sentence at the end. Young Pavilion Master. The young Pavilion Master of Shiana Pavilion is really in Lingnan County. Hellion Zioao said. When the 3 monks were killed earlier, Guanqi of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower mentioned the young master. Of course. Betrayals said. I'll go see Lord Wen. I believe Lord Wen will give you a good answer then. Hellion Zioao said. Then he quickly said goodbye and left, heading to the county magistrate's mansion to discuss the matter. Chapter 229. Banks, Gold Mines, and Laundering. After Hellion Zioao left, Nalan Rangan walked in. Master, the strength of the 7th Prince and the 3rd Prince may not be able to deal with the 1st Prince. According to the information I have collected, the 1st Prince was born to the Queen of the Great Zhao Dynasty, and is also the strongest among the 9 princes. Nalan Rangan said. You don't think that Cheyenne Pavilion will only choose this path? Cooperate with the 3rd prince and the 7th prince, but our Jinfengxiayu Tower. Jinfengxiayu Tower is Jinfengxiayu Tower, and Cheyenne Pavilion is Cheyenne Pavilion. Bei Chaofei only said this sentence, and didn't say anything else. But Nailin Rangan is so smart, that she already knows what Bei Chaofei means. She was just shocked in her heart. Your practice must also be improved. The starting point of my Jinfengxiayu Tower in Lingnan County is a little stronger than that of Jinfengxiayu Tower in Qingcheng. Now Qingcheng is expanding towards the outside of the Great Wall, and is ahead of us. Bei Chaofei said. Now there are 2 branches of Jinfengxiayu Tower in Lingnan County. In fact, the 2 branches are also in a state of competition. He is not familiar with Bei Xianyu and Dugu Wudi, but they are definitely heroes, and will definitely not be content to live in Qingcheng. With his presence in Lingnan County, they did not expand here, but expanded to the outside of the Great Wall. In this case, he must make achievements. I understand. Nailin Rangan replied. I will go to see Senior Guanqi and Senior Shangwen, and tell them about the visit to the county governor's mansion tomorrow. Bei Chaofei walked out of the room after speaking, heading towards the backyard. If Wen Yifan does not show enough sincerity, he may take action, so he plans to invite Shangwen Jinhang and Guanqi together. The existence of the 2 people in the Heavenly Man realm can definitely suppress the other party directly. On the other side, Su Chen has an extra child accompanying him. Although many people are surprised, they did not ask. Now, in Shanmen, Su Chen has established some authority. Inside the cave, Cui Woohoo, Li Xiangxing, the KO brothers, and the Fat Man, 5 people appeared in front of Su Chen. Fatty, how's the investigation going on about the people in the sect recently? Su Chen looked at the Fat Man and said, although there is no opposition in the Shan sect now, there are still some people who don't obey him. They are just suppressed by him on the surface. Su Chen will not let these people live. Master, this is what I found out. Some people who colluded with the outside world to deal with you. Master. The Fat Man put the list in front of Su Chen. Su Chen flipped it open, and saw that there were still many people on it. Master, I will lead people to kill them all. Cui Woohoo said. He is completely loyal to Su Chen. Now there are still people who oppose Su Chen, so of course he will kill these people for Su Chen. The same is true for the KO brothers behind him. They have just joined the Shan sect, and of course they hope to leave a good impression on Su Chen. This is not convenient for you to do. Su Chen turned to the 5 poison boy beside him and said, you do it, don't leave any clues. Master, don't worry, they will die silently. The 5 poison boy showed a cruel smile at the corner of his mouth. The people below couldn't help but shudder. But this smile flashed by, and then he returned to innocence, and walked out of the hall. Now that Lingnan County has changed, we still have to continue to absorb masters. Cui Woohoo, you take the KO brothers, and continue to select some casual cultivators to join our Shanman. Su Chen ordered. The 3 killer monks of Qinglang Temple were killed, and the momentum created by Qinglang Temple before disappeared. I believe that those who want to deal with the people of Qinglang Temple will also make a move again. Of course, he is also waiting for news from Bei Chaofei, but preparations must be made. Yes. Cui Woohoo took the KO brothers and left quickly. Master Li, continue to select some qualified disciples, give them resources, and let them break through. The world is turbulent, and we can't miss such an opportunity. Su Chen then said to Li Xiangxing, don't worry, Master. Li Xiangxing's battle hall was built for attacking. He has been training the selected Shanman disciples. Master, can we also accept the qualified disciples of Xian sect into the battle hall? Li Xiangxing thought for a while and asked. There is no Xian sect anymore. They are all Shan sect disciples. Su Chen said. I understand. After that, Li Xiangxing bowed and left the cave. Only Xiaopang was left. At this time, Xiaopang was very fortunate in his heart, and he also sighed at his luck. He didn't expect that an ordinary disciple of Shan sect who he had bullied casually before would become the master of Shan sect in a blink of an eye. Fortunately, he decisively recognized him as the boss at that time. Boss, I have finished my work here. Do you have any other instructions? The fat man did not call Su Chen the master, but the boss. This seemed friendly. Of course, the main reason was that Su Chen did not object. Not yet, but I want you to manage Cheyenne Mountain. Su Chen said. The fat man's strength is not good, and he doesn't know how to manage it, but there is no way. There are not many people he can trust. So he can only let the fat man go. I will manage Cheyenne Mountain. The fat man was a little confused, but then he became excited. Boss, what are your requirements or goals for Cheyenne Mountain? The fat man asked. To expand resources. Now that the disciples of Shan sect are expanding, resources and money are needed. Your task is to get resources and money. While Su Chen was speaking, he took out the deeds of the bank and restaurant given to him by the left governor Li Wei from his arms and handed them to the fat man. Here are the deeds of the bank and restaurant. We will take over some of them in a while. You take Cheyenne and teach some people to manage them well. Su Chen ordered. The fat man took over the deeds of the bank and restaurant. His eyes lit up. Boss, don't worry, I will definitely double the profit of the restaurant. The fat man did not mention the bank. Su Chen couldn't help but ask, the money house should be the most profitable. Why don't you have the confidence to double it? Boss, the money house business may only maintain some profits. I got the news that the money houses of the Jinqian gang have begun to expand their locations in the 9 northern counties. It is estimated that there will be several money houses of the Jinqian gang in Lingnan County soon. Once a money house like the Jinqian gang appears, the local money house business in Lingnan County will be very difficult, said the fat man. Jinqian gang. Su Chen frowned slightly. The Jinqian gang used to be mainly active in the southern territory of the Great Zhao dynasty. At this time, it appeared in the 9 northern counties. It seems that it is also to deal with the eldest prince and the Qinglan temple. This offensive is very fierce. Su Chen thought to himself. They are expanding, and we can also expand. There is a gold mine over at the Jinfeng Xiao Tower. You can open a few more money houses here. When the time comes, all the gold they have refined will be circulated secretly. Su Chen said. Why take over the money house? The main reason is to help the Jinfeng Xiao Tower wash out all the gold and circulate it out. Hearing Su Chen's words, the fat man was surprised at first, and then his eyes sparkled. Boss, if our bank expands, we must set aside at least 20% of the profit. The fat man said. They promised to give us 30% of the profit. Now the key is that you have to open a few more banks and then go directly to see Nailin Rangan of Jinfeng Xiao Tower. Su Chen ordered. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230, Seriously Injured Ni Fenghan, Killed with One Sword. Then, boss, I'll go get ready first. After saying that, the fat man also quickly left the cave. He was full of energy at this moment. After the fat man left, Su Chen fell into deep thought. The money gang began to expand in the 9 northern counties, so the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower had to face them. After all, the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower had killed Shangwen Zhu of the money gang before. I didn't expect that the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower would have so many enemies. Su Chen couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. At this time, a disciple came to report. Master, there is a woman outside the mountain gate, saying that she is from the backyard of the Su family's small building in Qingcheng. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes condensed. The small building in the backyard of the Su family. It was Zihanayu who lived there before. Zihanayu wanted to see him. Bring her to the master's hall. Su Chen ordered, and got up, and went to the master's hall. At this time, outside Lingnan County, a man in a black robe and a bamboo hat was slowly coming towards the Lingnan County government. This person exuded a strong murderous aura. The people who passed by him suddenly felt that they couldn't breathe smoothly. Fortunately, this person walked very fast. Those people didn't suffocate to death. Such a strong murderous aura. Some powerful warriors looked at the disappearing back and murmured. Soon, the man in black appeared in front of a cave. 2 figures appeared. When these 2 figures appeared, the black-clothed man who came in front of one of them appeared like a ghost. He raised his hands and grabbed the other's neck with one palm. Crack. With a force, he directly crushed the throat of the captured person. Tell Xiaoqiushu that I, Nifenghan, came to fight him. The voice of the person who came was low and echoed outside the cave. The other person's face was extremely pale. He didn't expect that the person who came was Nifenghan, the master of the ghost demon mansion. It is rumored that this Nifenghan has been killed by the great wisdom Dharma king of Qinglang Temple. But now someone claims to be him. This made him tremble a little. Don't go yet. Are you waiting for me to kill you? Nifenghan said coldly. The guard quickly retreated and headed into the cave. Inside the cave, Jing Wuming was getting familiar with his own strength. He wanted to combine his current strength with his practice of killing swordsmanship. Captain, there is a man outside who calls himself Nifenghan. He wants to see our Zengaiu Hall master. The man outside the cave said. Nifenghan. Jing Wuming's eyes condensed and he turned around and stood up. It was rumored that this man was killed by the great wisdom Dharma king of Qinglang Temple. But now he appeared here. He wanted to see the other party. Nifenghan's strength was in the heavenly realm. He now had the unity of strength and spirit. He had some self-protection methods, so he appeared at the edge of the cave and looked at Nifenghan, who was standing not far away with his hands behind his back. Jing Wuming appeared. Nifenghan, who was standing with his hands behind his back, sensed Jing Wuming's arrival and turned to look at Jing Wuming. Who are you? Why are you pretending to be Nifenghan from the ghost demon mansion? Jing Wuming looked at the other party and said. Hearing Jing Wuming's words, the man wearing a bamboo hat slowly took off his bamboo hat, revealing the true face of Nifenghan. Weren't you killed by the great wisdom Dharma king? Jing Wuming frowned and said. He sighed in his heart. Many things, what you see and hear are not true. Jing Wuming told Xiaoqiushu that I will wait for him here. If he doesn't come, I will start slaughtering your Qinglanghu's branch until he shows up. Nifenghan said coldly. Okay, I will go and inform the hall master now. Jing Wuming turned and left. This matter was no longer something he could intervene in. After a while, Xiaoqiushu appeared in front of Nifenghan and said, I didn't expect you to be alive, but your heart has been eroded, and you won't live long. Xiaoqiushu shook his head. He could see that the other party was already exhausted. He would die without him taking action. I can't live. I've been hit by the life and death tribulation finger of the great wisdom Dharma king. As long as I use my own power, I will die. But this is enough. Killing you will avenge my son, said the ghost demon mansion lord Nifenghan. As he spoke, a powerful ki burst out from the ghost demon mansion lord. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew around. His eyes were cold. One punch. If you don't die, I will die. Nifenghan clenched his fist, and a layer of black flame appeared on his fist. The flame was extremely cold. Under this cold flame, layers of frost appeared on the ground. With the appearance of frost, Nifenghan's ki began to gather. Boom. He kicked the ground with his footsteps, and his body was as fast as thunder, heading towards Xiaoqiushu. Since you have made a full strength move, then I will let you see my swordsmanship. Xiaoqiushu held the long sword in his hand. The long sword was raised, and an amazing sword energy wave burst out from Xiaoqiushu's body. The wind and clouds in the sky changed, and a shocking sword energy flowed in the sky, forming a huge long sword. A shocking sword. Ghostly heavenly fist. Boom. The two's attacks collided. The shocking sword energy penetrated the fist force and slashed towards his body. Bang. Nifenghan's body was directly cut off by the sword. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. I didn't expect that I, whose strength has fallen, could not even block your sword. Ghostly Palace Lord Nifenghan had unwillingness in his eyes. Plop. Then he fell to the ground. You are exhausted and still looking for me. If I had known this would happen, why did I do it in the first place? But you came to me. It should be that the great wisdom Dharma king deliberately left you alive. Xiaoqiushu said. Although their Qinglang society has no grudge with Qinglang Temple for the time being, but the ghostly palace and the paradise building have been destroyed. Only the Qinglang society, which is now extremely powerful, is left. How could Qinglang Temple not test it? Check the wounds on his body and bury him. Xiaoqiushu ordered. From the wounds, we can see some of the methods of the great wisdom Dharma king. Bury him. No matter what, this ghost demon mansion master Nifenghan is also a figure. At this time, in the distance, a man in a black cloak took a look at the situation here. He murmured, "Dead, killed with one sword." Although Zyokiyoshu's realm is in the first difficulty of heaven and man, his combat power may have reached the second difficulty of heaven and man. This matter needs to be reported. After saying that, the man in black left quickly. When the man in black left, Zyokiyoshu looked in the direction where the man in black left. Is someone targeting our Kinglan Club? A cold light flashed in Zyokiyoshu's eyes. At this time, Zhuge Zhengwo appeared beside Zyokiyoshu. Now that the Child Tower and the Ghost Demon Mansion in the 9 counties of the north have been destroyed, it is our opportunity. I will gather the remaining forces of these forces and incorporate them into our Kinglan Club, Zhuge Zhengwo said. Now Zhuge Zhengwo appeared as the February Hall Master of Kinglan Club. It was difficult to appear in other identities, so he decided to develop in the Kinglan Society. This is also a method. I'll let Afei go with you, Zyokiyoshu said. After the retreat, Afei's strength has entered the stage of soul and spirit unity. Together with Zhuge Zhengwo who has entered the heavenly realm, he should be able to quickly gather the remaining forces of Jila Tower and Jiuisha Mansion. Chapter 231. No one is afraid of the development. Outside Lingnan County, there is a cave. The weak light inside the cave can only roughly illuminate the outline of the cave. One of the figures is standing in the cave, wearing a mask on his face. Suddenly, a black figure quickly enters the cave. Sir Nifeng had used up his last strength, but was killed by Zyokiyoshu with a sword. Zyokiyoshu's real combat power should have reached the level of heaven and man. The black figure bowed and reported, "Heaven and man. A first-month Hall Master of the Kinglang Society has such strength. This Kinglang Society should be more powerful than the Gisha Mansion and Jilalao. We should contact them," the masked man said. "Sir, the origin of this Kinglang Society is unknown. Can we use it?" The black-clothed man beside him said in a deep voice. "As a killer organization, as long as we pay, we don't need to trust them. I just want them to have strength." "Have the money sent by the Gisha Mansion and Jilalao been recovered?" Then the masked man said. "The money of Gisha Mansion was recovered, but Zyobili of Jilalao disappeared, and we were unable to track him down." The visitor replied. "This Zyobili is good at scheming and hiding. It is difficult to find him. Let's give up tracking him down for the time being." The masked man then said, "I will not show up next. You go to meet the people from Xiangsha League in my identity." Xiangsha League. Hearing this, the man in black was startled. Xiangsha League is not a force in the 9 northern counties. Its strength is about the same as that of Kinglang Temple. Of course, if compared with the entire Tantric Buddhism, Xiangsha League is still a little worse. If they want to get involved in the 9 northern counties, of course they have to make an effort. After meeting the people from Xiangsha League, the other 2 forces in Lingnan County should also be allowed to move. We can't let them just watch the show and not make an effort. But if Xiangsha League takes action, I'm afraid the remaining 2 forces in the 9 northern counties will not, the man in black said with some concern. It doesn't matter whether they will or not. With the Azure Dragon Temple weakened and the other 2 coming up, the martial arts world in the 9 northern counties will quickly calm down. As long as it calms down, I believe that with the methods of the eldest prince, those 2 forces can be taken down at any time. In that case, what's the difference between our actions this time and not taking action? So the 7th prince asked the World Alliance to come to the 9 northern counties, just to make the martial arts world in the entire 9 northern counties continue to be in chaos. In this way, the eldest prince will completely lose control of the 9 northern counties. It can also distract the minds of Master Xianmi and the eldest prince. This is our real purpose, the masked man said. Of course, in addition to the World Alliance, the Money Gang also came. There will be some forces that have not yet emerged in the dark, such as the Golden Wind and Rain in Lingnan County and the Azure Dragon Society. The masked man continued. I understand. I will go to see the people from the World Alliance now. After speaking, the black-clothed man quickly withdrew from the cave. Inside the cave, it became quiet, and the masked man slowly took off the mask on his face. He was an old man with a slightly drooping beard and a refined look on his face. If people in the capital saw this person, they would definitely be shocked. This old man was one of the two great mentors of the 7th prince, the Taoist Taixu Zenran Shan sect. In the master's hall, Zihan was standing in the center of the hall in a purple and light blue dress, with a veil covering her face. When Su Chen stepped into the hall, Zihan was startled, and a strong look of surprise appeared on her face. She could sense an abnormal fluctuation of ki from Su Chen. His realm was in the middle stage of soul refining, a little worse than hers. But with the ki and blood in his body, it gave her a sense of pressure. No wonder you didn't join my Hanyu sect. It turns out you have such strength. Zihanyu looked at Su Chen and said, I think Hanyu saint, you came to me. You should not just come to praise me. Su Chen looked at the other party and said, of course not. I want to cooperate with Master Su. Zihanyu said, the current Su Chen can't be regarded as the previous Su Chen. It can be said that he is a person with power. Cooperation. There should be no cooperation between us, and I also have people to cooperate with. Su Chen said. Eternal Regret Palace, Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Eternal Regret Palace, you can cooperate, but Golden Wind and Rain Tower is better not to cooperate. Zihanyu said, what do you mean? Although Su Chen guessed a little, he still wanted to ask Zihanyu to help analyze it. Zihanyu was a direct participant in this matter. He must know a lot. Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Now the enemy is not only Qinglang Temple, but also the Money Gang in the south. The Money Gang is very powerful in the south. Now the Money Gang is entering the 9 counties in the north. At that time, the two sides will definitely confront each other. In addition to Qinglang Temple, if both parties exert their strength, then your Shanman may become cannon fodder. I think you don't want to be cannon fodder, so if you can get out as soon as possible. As for the Everlasting Regret Palace, you are relying on Mirren Qingchen's relationship, so you can continue to cooperate, because Medi Zuanshang and Mirren Qingchen both belong to the same faction of the 4th prince. Zihanyu said. I know what you said, and I don't know some of it. Su Chen shook his head. These analyses can be made, as long as you know some information. Do you think Qinglang Temple will be destroyed? Zihanyu looked at Su Chen and asked back. Qinglang Temple belongs to the Buddhist Tantric sect. How could it be destroyed? At most, it will be weakened. Su Chen said. Indeed, the princes just want to weaken the strength of Qinglang Temple in the 9 northern counties. Let the eldest prince keep paying attention to the 9 northern counties, and not be able to break through with all his heart and soul. Zihanyu said. In other words, the 9 northern counties will become a quagmire. There will be constant disputes here. Su Chen associated this with Zihanyu's words. That's it. Zihanyu said. But I got news here, that Wen Yifan will become the governor of the 9 northern counties. He is the 3rd prince's man. Once he becomes the governor of the 9 northern counties, I think the 3rd prince should not let the 9 northern counties go for nothing. Shouldn't let the 9 northern counties be in chaos. Su Chen said. If Wen Yifan wants to become the governor of the 9 northern counties, it depends on the degree of the game. But I don't think he will do well. Zihanyu said. Now that Jiao our divine lord has been killed, I wonder what the 7th prince behind you will do. You won't just ignore this matter. Su Chen wanted to know this. I don't know either. I just received an order to cooperate with Jiao our divine lord, but Jiao our divine lord is probably just a figure on the surface. There should be someone coming from the 7th prince, but I don't know who it is. Zihanyu said. It's a bit complicated, so don't think about it. My current goal is to lead Shanman, to become the #1 force in Lingnan County. Since Zihanyu didn't know where the people sent by the 7th prince were, he didn't have to think about it. Everything is based on strength. If he continues to develop, who will he be afraid of? Chapter 232, Storm Rising. Bad Prince, Yuan Suan. Tell me your real purpose. Su Chen looked at Zihanyu and said. After saying so many things, Zihanyu still didn't say the purpose of coming. It's unlikely that he would cooperate with him to deal with anyone. Because Su Chen knew his own limitations, and the power of Shanman could only help. Secret treasure. You have someone now, you can join me to find the secret treasure. Zihanyu said. Secret treasure. Is it really in Lingnan County? Su Chen frowned slightly. It must be there. The golden plum bottle obtained by Guan Qi of Jinfengxiao Tower is a treasure in the secret treasure. Although I don't know how this golden plum bottle was lost, I can be sure that the secret treasure is in Lingnan County. Zihan Yu said with certainty. Lingnan County is so big, you won't let my people search the mountains. Su Chen looked at Zihan Yu and said, it's just a search of the mountains. I have locked on several mountains. I can send people to investigate when the time comes. Zihan Yu said, this kind of mountain search will definitely arouse suspicion. I don't want to be noticed like this. Once too much is involved, my Shan sect's assets are not enough to compensate. Su Chen shook his head. One of the mountains is Cheyenne Mountain. Today, Cheyenne sect has been controlled by your Shan sect. You can investigate internally. As for the other mountains, I will help you get rid of the leaders of those forces at that time, and you can directly send people to control them. After occupying them, all the profits will be yours, and I won't take any. Zihan Yu said. This is the same as Mei Zuanshan's plan. But this time, you don't have to share the profits with others. In this case, I can help you. Su Chen said, after thinking for a moment. What Zihan Yu did can help expand quickly. I hope to do this step by step, otherwise, I'm afraid I can't control it. After all, it's impossible to get rich overnight. It's normal to be noticed for the sake of territory. But Su Chen doesn't want to be noticed for searching the mountain. Because it will make people guess what you are looking for. It will be very troublesome if you are targeted. This is our first target for cooperation. Kindling Mountain, Zihan Yu said. Kindling Mountain is the mountain range where Qinjianmen is located among the 10 major sects in Lingnan County. Qinjianmen emphasizes swordsmanship, which is extraordinary. It doesn't matter, someone from my side will take action, and I will notify you when the action is taken. You can take people there when the time comes. I won't stay here. I hope we can have a pleasant cooperation. After that, Zihan Yu said goodbye to Su Chen and left. Looking at Zihan Yu's back as she left, Su Chen frowned slightly, although this matter was beneficial to him. After all, he also wanted to expand. But Zihan Yu was really not a simple person. He couldn't be careless. If he was careless, he might end up dying like his father in the past. In the next few days, on the surface, the 9 northern counties seemed very calm, as if nothing had happened. But Su Chen received a secret letter from Bei Chaofi. He knew that the 9 northern counties were really starting to get in chaos. Guan Xianchao, the leader of the Sword Alliance, appeared in Lingnan County and met with Wen Yifan. Leng Xianqi, the second deputy leader of the Xiangxia League, led the 3 hall masters of Xianmu Hall, Xianshan Hall, and Xianfeng Hall of the Xiangxia League to appear in Longbei County and the 9 northern counties. The Jinqian gang from the south opened 36 money houses in the 9 northern counties in one day. Among the 3 major forces in the 9 northern counties, Xiangqun sect and Sifanhu began to clear out the tantric temples within their jurisdiction. This is the official start of the confrontation with Qinglang Temple. I didn't expect such a change in a few days. No wonder Qinglang Temple didn't take action against Jinfengxiao Tower. That's it, they don't have time at all. Su Chen looked at the secret letter in his hand and thought to himself. Then he looked at the lottery card in his hand. He triggered some rewards in the past few days and got 1 orange lottery card. In addition to the 1 orange lottery card left by killing Zhe Xianan before, he has 2 orange lottery cards on his side. The war broke out. He also needs to increase his strength. After the 5 poison boys appeared, he asked Zhu Zioran to go to Qinglanghu and become the head of Qinglanghu Sanayu Hall. Zhu Zioran established Skynet in his previous life. Now that he has become the leader of Sinatang, he is also quickly forming his own team. During this period, Zhu Zhengwo and Fei gathered the remaining forces of Jililao and Gishifu. It can be said that Qinglanghu is the strongest killer organization in the 9 northern counties. However, it is still a little short of becoming the dominant killer organization in the 9 northern counties. After all, Gishifu and Jililao are not strong in themselves. If they were strong, they would not be killed at will by Qinglang Temple. The dominant killer organization is now the target of Qinglanghu. Perhaps when Qinglanghu becomes the dominant killer force in the 9 northern counties, he can trigger some rewards. Draw 2 orange lottery cards directly. Get the character Bat Prince Yuan Suan. Get a golden Ganoderma lucidum. The character appeared again. Bat Prince Yuan Suan is the main character in the Bat Legend in Chuliuxiang Legend. Bat Prince Yuan Suan is the young master of the first family was Hengvala and the owner of Bat Island. A young master who appears gentle and kind, but secretly intends to unify the martial arts world and become the overlord of the martial arts world. Of course, Yuan Suan's biggest feature is that he is blind. Su Chen checked Yuan Suan's strength and found that he was in the second level of heaven and man. Seeing this information, Su Chen frowned slightly. He didn't expect Yuan Suan's strength to be in the second level of heaven and man. At this time, he checked the golden Ganoderma lucidum he had obtained. The golden Ganoderma lucidum can help Yuan Suan recover his eyes and improve his skills to the third level of heaven and man. Is this to make up for Yuan Suan's last defect? But can the Bat Prince who has recovered his eyes still be the Bat Prince? Su Chen couldn't help thinking so in his heart. He immediately summoned Yuan Suan. He was dressed in white, a handsome man, but his eyes were lifeless. Meet the master. Yuan Suan saluted Su Chen. This is a golden Ganoderma. After you take it, your eyes will be clear again. This world is not the previous world. I think you will be more wonderful. Su Chen took out the golden Ganoderma and handed it to Yuan Suan. When Yuan Suan heard Su Chen's words, his face showed surprise. Although he has become accustomed to not being able to see, he still hopes that he can see. Take it in my cave and restore your eyes as soon as possible. We still have a lot of things to do next. Su Chen ordered. Yes. Yuan Suan nodded and took the golden Ganoderma handed over by Su Chen and then went into the cave. Su Chen walked out of the cave. Now the big thing has started. He also needs to move. Jin Feng's Xiaoyu Tower has reached a cooperation with Wen Yifen. Wen Yifen has given Jin Feng's Xiaoyu Tower a lot of benefits. Changhan Palace and Zihan Yu are also urging them to move. Shanman is about to expand. When Su Chen thought of this, a sense of heroism rose in his heart. At this time, the stronghold of the Qinglang Society, a figure appeared in Xiao Qiushu's courtyard. The man was wearing a mask and exuded a fierce aura. Chapter 233 Division of Labor, Killing. Winter. The air was bitterly cold. The bright moonlight fell on the manor like a layer of white frost, making the manor seem particularly quiet. The man in black gave off a fierce aura, but there was no fluctuation in the manor because of the aura of the man in black. It seemed that there was no one in the manor at all. Time continued. Did I find the wrong place? Seeing this, the masked man in black thought to himself. He had searched for a long time before finding this place. But what was the situation with this silence? When he was puzzled, a figure suddenly flew out of the hall in front of him. This figure came directly towards the man in black. The long sword in his hand stabbed out instantly, and a terrifying sword energy swept directly over, killing intent, and the speed was so fast. Seeing this, the man in black looked condensed. When the long sword was about to stab, his body leaned back in an incredible way to avoid the sword. When avoiding the sword, both palms slapped suddenly. A wave of air like a tide slapped towards the black figure. The black figure who attacked turned around and landed in one place. The black figure was wearing a bamboo hat and holding a long sword in his hand, looking at the black-clothed man who was coming forward. You are not Xiao Qiushu. The black-clothed man looked at the man wearing a bamboo hat standing not far from him and said, I'm the head of the Sanayu Hall of the Qinglang Society. This is my Sanayu Hall now. The man wearing a bamboo hat was Zhu Zioran who had left Su Chen. Head of the Sanayu Hall of the Qinglang Society? The black-clothed man's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard Zhu Zioran's words. Previously, the Qinglang appeared in the Zhengayu Hall and the Erayu Hall, and now the Sanayu Hall has appeared again. Judging from the sword cultivation that just attacked, this person's strength is higher than that of Xiao Qiushu and Zhu Zhengwo when they first appeared. When Xiao Qiushu appeared, his strength was at the level of unity of spirit and soul. Zhu Zhengwo's unity of spirit and soul was close to the realm of heaven and man. Now this Zhu Yiren has appeared and reached the realm of heaven and man. Could it be that the person who appears again will be even stronger? His heart was dignified. Who are you? What's the matter with you coming to my Qinglang Club Sanayu Hall? Zhu Zioran's voice was low, with an inexplicable chill in his words. Compared with Xiao Qiushu and Zhu Zhengwo, this man's aura seems more like a killer. The man in black thought to himself. This time, we came here, mainly to ask the King Lang Club, to help us kill a few people. The man in black said. Kill people, who are they? Zhu Zioran said. Swish. At this moment, a secret letter in the hand of the man in black flew directly to Zhu Zioran. The speed was extremely fast, like the light of a knife. Zhu Zioran raised his hand and grabbed the secret letter. Longbui County, the abbot of Puhu Temple Huayan, BD County Gongsun family, Gongsunzan, Kangwu County, the city lord of Kangchen City, Huang Furang. They are all the leaders of the top forces attached to the Qinglang Temple. Zhu Zioran said. As a killer, of course he had to understand the situation of the 9 northern counties. After taking charge of Sinayatang, he immediately asked Jinfeng Xiaolao for some information about the forces in the 9 northern counties. Yes, don't you Qinglang who dare to accept it? The man in black looked at Zhu Zioran and said, 3 million taels per person, pay in full at one time. We will make a move after the money arrives. 3 months. If the person is not dead by then, we will return half of the fee. Zhu Zioran said. Hearing Zhu Zioran's words, the face of the man in black under the mask became very ugly. He didn't expect that the Qinglang who would ask him to pay first. This is our rule. If you don't think it through, please leave. The other party pondered, but Zhu Zioran would not wait for the other party to decide here. Okay, I will send the things tomorrow. The man in black said, after pondering for a moment. It doesn't matter. We will make a move after the money arrives. And please don't send it. Zhu Zioran said in a cold voice. The man in black glanced at Zhu Zioran and left quickly. Zhu Zioran glanced at the other person's leaving figure. He turned and entered the hall. Then he activated the mechanism in the house. He came to an underground secret room. The secret room was large, and Jing Wuming, Afei, Zhu Zhengwo, and Xiao Qiushu were all in it. Changes have occurred in the 9 northern counties. The man just now should be from the capital, and his strength is not simple. Zhu Zioran said. Although he did not use his full strength when he just attacked, he also exerted 70% of his strength. The opponent seemed to dodge in a hurry, but he had actually seen through the speed and direction of his sword. He wants us to kill 3 people. Zhu Zioran said the names of the 3 people. The leaders of these 3 forces are all of heavenly strength. Do they want to see the strength of our Qinglang society? Xiao Qiushu said. The 3 of us each choose 1 person. Then Xiao Qiushu continued. The monk Huayan practiced the tantric martial arts, the golden cicada kung fu. My spear can penetrate his defense. It just so happens that I also want to move the Ariatang to Longbui County, Zhu Zhengwo said. Now he is in charge of the remaining forces of Gishimansion and Jile Tower. Duan Qinggaya, the former first deputy owner of Jile Tower, also came under Zhu Zhengwo's command and was in charge of Jile Tower. Afei is in charge of the Gishimansion. Xiao Qiushu and Jing Wuming are still the previous team. Zhu Zioran is gathering some people from the 9 northern counties. Each has a different development. After taking over Puhu Temple, he will establish a Ryotang in Longbui County. The Xiangsha League is entering over there. If you lead a Ryotang now, I'm afraid you will be targeted. Xiao Qiushu said in a deep voice. Only by competing in martial arts can you improve your strength. Zhu Zhengwo said. Okay. Xiao Qiushu and Zhu Zioran nodded. Then I will deal with Huang Furong, the lord of Kangchen City in Kangwu County next to Lingnan County. Xiao Qiushu said. As for the remaining Gongsunzan, I will kill him. Zhu Zioran said, then turned and left through another exit. Not far away, the man in black had been staring at the manor, looking at the darkness inside the manor, and frowned slightly. It seems there is another exit. Send the silver tomorrow, and see how you guys deal with it. Xiao Qiushu, Zhu Zhengwo, and another person. The man in black murmured. After speaking, he turned and left. The next day, Chen went down the mountain and appeared in front of a restaurant. This was a contact point that Zihanayu gave him later. Wearing a bamboo hat, Chen came to the restaurant and said, "Boss, give me a room upstairs." While speaking, he showed the token given by Zihanayu. The shopkeeper saw the token shown by Chen, and his expression did not change. "Sir, please follow me." After that, He personally took Su Chen to the backyard of the restaurant. After Su Chen and the shopkeeper passed through a small bamboo forest in the backyard, they appeared in a pavilion. The pavilion is not high, only 2 floors, and the decoration is simple. There is also a pavilion outside the pavilion. In the balcony, Zihanayu, wearing a white long skirt, was sitting in the center, with her hair bun high and 3 jade hairpins inserted in her hair. At this time, Zihanayu was not wearing a veil. She had a beautiful face and a well-proportioned figure. Although she was wearing a white skirt, her graceful outline could still be seen. This is the true face of Zihanayu. Her disguise technique is amazing. When Su Chen saw this person, he knew in his heart that the other party was Zihanayu. Chapter 234. Shocking, silent poison. Zihanayu saw Su Chen coming. Her beautiful eyes moved slightly, and she waved her hand to let the shopkeeper leave. The shopkeeper bowed and left. Sit down. Zihanayu asked Su Chen to sit opposite her. In this way, Su Chen could fully see Zihanayu's delicate face and curvy figure. Master Su, why did you come down the mountain in person? Zihanayu looked at Su Chen and said, you are a little slow, so I came to ask. Now the 9 counties in the north are in chaos, which is an opportunity for my Shan sect to expand. Su Chen looked at Zihanayu and said, I didn't expect that Master Su came here for this matter. I got the news that Zuanshang is going to take action against Cheyenne Villa, so I'm going to slow down for a while, fearing that you can't control 2 forces at once. Zihanayu looked at Su Chen and said, don't worry about this, I recently recruited a poison master. Su Chen looked at Zihanayu and said, poison master. Zihanayu was stunned. She didn't get the news that Su Chen recruited a poison master. Yes, you don't have to doubt it. As long as you can make a move, I can make them work for me obediently. Otherwise, I will send them to death. Su Chen said coldly. If you do this, it may affect you. Zihanayu said involuntarily. In today's world, the Jianghu does not need heroes, but heroes. Those who follow me will prosper, and those who go against me will perish. This is the way now. Su Chen said coldly. Of course, Su Chen said this with confidence. There may be people on his side at any time, and there is no shortage of people loyal to him. So he dares to kill. Dare to do this. Hearing Su Chen's words, Zihanayu's beautiful eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. This is the potential of a peerless overlord. Okay, I will arrange it as soon as possible, but once you occupy Lingnan County, I'm afraid you will encounter some powerful forces. At that time, Mei Zuanshang and I may not be able to help you. Zihanayu looked at Su Chen and said, I don't rely on you. Do you know? You are now poisoned, but this poison is not given by me. Su Chen looked at Zihanayu and said. Zihanayu was startled when she heard Su Chen's words. She was just sitting here, not drinking or eating anything. There was no strange smell in the air. How could she be poisoned? You can use your mirror to look at your forehead. Don't use your ki to force the poison out. Once you use ki, the poison will spread faster. While Su Chen was talking, he picked up the teapot on the stone table in front of him and poured himself a cup of tea. Zihanayu stood up and walked into the pavilion. In the pavilion, Long Pio looked at Zihanayu, who came in and was startled because a layer of purple appeared between Zihanayu's eyebrows. Miss, you are poisoned, Long Pio said nervously. Zihanayu's eyes changed, and she stood in front of a mirror and saw the purple between her eyebrows. Her expression was horrified. Miss, I will use my ki to help you force the poison out, Long Pio said. No, this poison was given by Su Chen. He recruited a poison expert. I just sat opposite Su Chen and didn't see him, and I was poisoned, Zihanayu said in a deep voice. Miss, she didn't move, and that person didn't show up. So how could she be poisoned? The dragon lady showed a puzzled look on her face. Luang Pio, you are poisoned too. At this time, Zihanayu saw that the purple color appeared between the eyebrows of the dragon lady, and she immediately spoke. Seeing this, the dragon lady unconsciously circulated her ki. She wanted to check whether she was poisoned. When she circulated her ki, her face changed, and a mouthful of blood spurted out of her mouth. By the way, don't circulate ki to force out the poison in your body. Seeing this, Zihanayu hurriedly said. The dragon lady immediately dispersed her own ki. She walked to the mirror and saw the purple color between her eyebrows, and her expression became horrified. This Su Chen actually recruited such a poison expert. It's a bit scary. Miss, we thought Su Chen was a little simple before. The dragon lady said. She didn't think highly of Su Chen before. In her eyes, Su Chen relied on ranking Chen to get to the top. But now the other party has recruited a master of poison. He poisoned the two of them without anyone noticing. It can be seen that this master of poison has a method. Killing people invisibly is like this. He is indeed not simple. Let's go and meet Su Chen. Let him help me detoxify my body first. Zihan Yu turned and left the pavilion and came to Su Chen with long po. Let your people help us detoxify our bodies first. Zihan Yu looked at Su Chen and said. Su Chen picked up the teapot and poured a glass of water for each of them. Drink this, and the toxins in your body will disappear. Su Chen said. The two did not hesitate and drank the water that Su Chen poured for them directly. Then they found that the purple color between each other's eyebrows began to dissipate. They breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. No matter who it is, knowing that they are poisoned, they will definitely be afraid. Now, you don't have to worry about whether I can swallow these forces. Su Chen looked at Zihan Yu and said. With such a person by your side, I'm a little afraid of you. Zihan Yu looked at Su Chen and said. There was a hint of charm in her eyes. Su Chen, who was opposite him, smelled a faint fragrance in his nostrils. This fragrance was particularly intoxicating. Although the fragrance was fragrant, it was poisonous. After being instilled with the flower-loving treasure mirror, Su Chen might not be as good at using poison as the 5 poison boys, but he would not lose to the 5 poison boys in identifying poisons. As long as they are not enemies, you will be fine. Cheyenne Mountain, I have secretly sent people to patrol. As soon as there is news, I will notify you. Su Chen said calmly. It seemed that he did not notice that Zihan Yu was poisoning. Within 3 days, I will help you take down Qin Jianmen. Zihan Yu looked at Su Chen while speaking. There was a kind of affectionate look in her beautiful eyes. She wanted to see the changes in Su Chen's complexion and body. But there was no change on Su Chen's face, and there was no abnormal movement in his body. She was confused. Did the poison I applied fail? Saintess, you don't have to look at me like that. After all, you were my stepmother, and you are a little old. We are not suitable. Also, don't poison me next time. Your poisoning methods are a little inferior. Su Chen looked at Zihan Yu and said. There was some contempt in his tone. Zihan Yu heard Su Chen's words and knew that she had taken action and was noticed by Su Chen. But the following words made her very angry. What do women care about most? The first is appearance, and the second is age. Su Chen actually said that she is old. She is only in her 20s now, just a little older than Su Chen. Long po. Send Master Su away. Zihan Yu directly asked someone to send Su Chen away. Then goodbye, no need to send me off. Su Chen stood up, put on his hat and left. Looking at Su Chen's back as he left, Zihan Yu said in a deep voice, find out as soon as possible, who is the poison master he recruited? Although she is cooperating with Su Chen now, who knows if they will become enemies in the future. If it was an enemy, it would be their nightmare if they had such a master of poison. So they had to find out who this master of poison was. It was better to take precautions. Chapter 235 Zuanai Ta, Li Muang. Outside the restaurant, Su Chen left, and the 5 poison boy did not show up. As long as no one finds him, his poison can threaten many people. Of course, this world is not the previous world, and there should be masters of poison and detoxification. Don't be careless, be cautious. The summoned characters are strong, but they are not immortal. They will die. Su Chen went to the mansion of the left Governor Li Wei. Now the situation in the 9 northern counties has really changed. This left Governor Li Wei should have made some moves. Of course, Su Chen went to see the other party, and he also wanted to see the layout of the Qinglang temple through him. When Su Chen came to Li Wen's mansion, a carriage slowly came from behind him. In front of the carriage was a man in a black and white long gown, holding a bamboo sword in his hand. There was a fierce murderous intent emanating from his body, which made many passers-by retreat and dare not approach. Su Chen sensed this fierce breath and looked behind him. At this time, The carriage passed by him. The breeze blew up the curtain. A fragrance came from the curtain. It was a woman. Chen couldn't help but look inside the car. A woman sat in the car, a woman of astonishing beauty. Long hair and eyebrows. A pair of black and white pupils, a little moist, give people a sense of spirituality and beauty. The lips are thin and rosy, but that astonishingly beautiful face, for some reason, gives people a very cold and daunting feeling. The woman sat on the carriage, a long white shawl wrapped lightly around her delicate body, very young. But Chen could vaguely feel a sense of pressure from her. The other party's strength is not to refine the soul, but to achieve the unity of spirit and soul. Chen was surprised. How could such a woman suddenly come? This is the most beautiful face among the women he has seen. Of course, not to mention temperament, Mirren King Chen is the most extraordinary in temperament. And the other party is very young, but she has achieved the unity of spirit and soul. The practice of a warrior is not only about qualifications, but also about resources. The combination of the two can achieve unlimited achievements. This is also the reason why many forces occupy the territory. This woman has entered the state of unity of spirit and soul at this age. Her qualifications and the power behind her are definitely not simple. Chen retracted his gaze and continued to move forward. The carriage seemed to be in the same direction as him. When Chen arrived at the residence of the Left Governor Li Wei, the previous carriage had already stopped at the gate of the residence. The woman sitting in the carriage came out. At this time, she had put on a bamboo hat with a beaded curtain, not wanting people to see her face. Outside Li Wei's residence, an old man seemed to have been waiting here for a long time. When he saw the woman getting off the car, he immediately stepped forward and took the woman into the residence. Then the servants led the carriage to the courtyard and took care of it. I'm here to see Li Wei. Chen saw this situation and his eyes condensed slightly. He also came to the front of Li's residence and took out the token from his arms. The guards outside the residence saw the token in Chen's hand and quickly entered the courtyard. At this time, in the hall of the residence, seeing the woman appear, Li Wei immediately left the hall. Why are you back at this time? Li Wei looked at the woman and said. From the tone, it can be seen that this woman is not a guest, but a family member of Li Wei. Father, if I don't come back, you may be in danger this time. The woman who came in took off her hat. The old housekeeper next to her took the hat and then left the hall. For the time being, they should not attack me, Li Wei said. Not necessarily. The woman shook her head. I have now become the third princess of Zuan'an Tower. I got the information that Wen Yifan is going to kill you first. The woman then said, Wen Yifan wants to kill me, Jing'er, is this true? Li Wei's face changed when he heard this. This woman is Li Wei's only daughter, named Li Muiying, who is a disciple of Zuan'an Tower, which is second only to the three major forces in the 9 northern counties. It can be said that she has the same strength as the Sword Alliance. We in Zuan'an Tower have been paying attention to the situation of the Sword Alliance. Guan Qianchao brought his apprentice Gu Tong to Lingnan County and met Wen Yifan. Among the things they talked about, there was killing you, so my daughter came back. Li Muiying said. This Wen Yifan actually attacked me. Why didn't Qinglang Temple give me any news? Li Wei frowned slightly. Qinglang Temple is now shrinking. The Xiangsha League, the Money Gang and other forces have come to the 9 northern counties to suppress Qinglang Temple. The Xiangquan sect and the Four Directions Association are now openly confronting Qinglang Temple. Even if Qinglang Temple has a strong foundation, it can't withstand the attacks of so many forces. How can I care about you now? Li Muiying said. According to reason, Wen Yifan shouldn't attack you at this time. What did you do? Then she asked. I arranged for someone to kill Zhe Xian'an and cut off Wen Yifan's back up in Lingnan County. Li Wei said. Father, you are a little too hasty. Make arrangements as soon as possible and return to Zuan'an Tower with me. I will hide in Zuan'an Tower for a while. My Zuan'an Tower is now being wooed by various parties. Wen Yifan should not tear his face with my Zuan'an Tower at this time. By the way, who is the one who killed Zhe Xian'an? We can hand him over to Wen Yifan first to buy us some time. Li Muiying said. I'm afraid it won't work to hand him over. Li Wei shook his head. During this period, Chen formed an alliance with Mei Zuanshan of Changhan Palace and Beiqiaofei of Jinfeng Xiu Tower. Once they take action against Su Chen, these two forces will not let him leave Lingnan County. Master, Su Chen, the leader of Shanmen, is here. The housekeeper standing outside the door came in and said, "Speak of KOKO, KOKO will come. This Su Chen is the one who killed Zhe Xianian." Li Wei said, "Hurry up and invite Master Su." Soon, Su Chen, wearing a bamboo hat, was led into the hall. He looked at Li Muaying in the hall and was slightly startled. "Master Su, how come you have time to come here?" Li Wei didn't understand why Su Chen came here. "Master Li, I came here to ask you, do you know when Wen Yifan will leave the 9 northern counties? Recently, my Shan sect is preparing to expand and become the largest sect in Lingnan County." Su Chen said. "The largest sect in Lingnan County." Hearing Su Chen's words, Wen Yifan's pupils suddenly shrank. "This Su Chen's ambition is really big, Master Su. The strength of your Shan sect is not enough for some sects in Lingnan County." Li Wei shook his head. "I'm cooperating with Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, Hanayu sect, Changhan Palace, and you, Master Li, to become the largest force in Lingnan County. It's not a fantasy at all. In the next 2 days, our Shan sect will be able to annex Qinjian sect and Cheyenne Villa. In this way, my Shan sect will become the largest gang in Lingnan County in terms of numbers," Su Chen said. Hearing Su Chen's words, Li Wei showed surprise on his face. Li Wei was surprised that Su Chen not only cooperated with Changhan Palace and Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, but also cooperated with Hanayu sect. It was beyond his imagination. Chapter 236. He uses whom? Taoism. Take Su Zhenren. Li Muaying, who was standing next to Li Wei, looked at Su Chen with a slightly concentrated look. In her previous thoughts, she would hand Su Chen over to Wen Yifan. This would buy them some time to leave. But now the other party has cooperated with the Changhan Palace, Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, and Hanayu sect. If they hand it over, they probably won't be able to leave Lingnan County tonight. My father will be away from Lingnan County for a while recently, and I'm afraid I can't help you for the time being," Li Muaying said on the side. "Leaving Lingnan County? Are you going to escape, Lord Li? This is a bit unkind." Su Chen looked at Li Wei and said. Li Wei had asked him to cooperate in the early stage, but now he wants to run away. Is he playing with him? "Master Su, it's not that I'm unkind. In this situation, it will become more and more difficult for people who stand in the open, so it's a good thing to be able to leave," Li Wei said in a deep voice. "When Yifan wants to kill him, can he not leave? Master Li, you asked me for cooperation before, but now you want to leave. This is not a good habit." Su Chen's tone was cold. There was a flash of doubt in his eyes. Li Wei was much more imposing before. Could he be threatened? He looked at Li Muaying beside him. Seeing Su Chen looking at Li Muaying, Li Wei immediately introduced. "Xiaoying, this is Su Chen, the head of Shanmen. Zhe Xianan was killed by Su, the head of the sect. Su Chen, this is my daughter Li Muaying, the 3rd princess of Zuanine Tower." Hearing this, Su Chen frowned slightly. He didn't expect that this woman was actually Li Wei's daughter and the 3rd princess of Zuanine Tower. Zuanine Tower's status in Lingnan County is similar to that of the Sword Alliance, and both are forces second only to the 3 major forces. Of course, in terms of real strength, Zuanine Tower is still a little worse than the Sword Alliance. After all, there is Guan Xianxiao, a strong swordsman in the Sword Alliance. "Hello, Miss Li." Su Chen bowed slightly to the other party. "I don't know why Lord Li Wei is in such a hurry to leave. Li Wei is one of the chess pieces he has laid out in Lingnan County. Nothing can happen for the time being, and he can't leave. Because you killed Zhe Xianayu, Wen Yifan wants to kill my father, so I want to take my father to Zuanine Tower," Li Muaying said. "Are you sure that Wen Yifan wants to take action at this time? If so, then make sure Wen Yifan can't take action," Su Chen said coldly. "You can't kill Wen Yifan, and you can't kill Wen Yifan." Li Muaying looked at Su Chen and said, "Why can't you kill him, and why can't you kill him?" Su Chen said in a deep voice. "Do you know Wen Yifan's strength? Do you know his background? Do you know who he represents? Not counting his strength, once he lives or dies, the 3rd prince and the Wen family will make trouble. We can't stop Zuanine Tower, let alone you Shanman," Li Muaying said coldly. The coldness on her face became even worse. Wen Yifan's strength is in the 3 difficulties of heaven and man, and he is also one of the planners of the 3rd prince in the 9 northern counties this time. But sometimes, it is not necessary to kill the other party to prevent him from taking action. Of course I want him to die. Even if he is in the 3 difficulties of heaven and man, he will die. Master Li, just wait for the news here. Within a day, Wen Yifan will be poisoned, and he should be sent back to the capital at that time. Su Chen said and turned to leave. Watching Su Chen's back as he left, Li Wei and his daughter looked at each other. He is a master of poison. Li Muang said. I don't know. This Su Chen was pushed out by Mirren King Chen, but it seems that he does not completely obey Mirren King Chen. This person is very ambitious and dangerous. You'd better not have too much contact with him, Li Wei said. From the information before, Su Chen was just an ordinary little person. The first time they met, he knew that Su Chen was not simple. Now they meet again. Su Chen's tone is overbearing. There is a feeling that those who obey will live, and those who disobey will die. It is a bit dangerous. Li Muang nodded. She was surprised in her heart. She didn't expect such a person to appear in Lingnan County. The other party was probably about the same age as her. Of course, she wanted to see how Su Chen poisoned Wen Yifan. Wen Yifan was a person of the 3 difficulties of heaven and man, so it was difficult to poison him. You came back this time, not just to take me back to Zuanayan Tower. There should be other things to do, Li Wei said. Yes, in fact, father, I came back this time, mainly to let you join the 7th prince. Our Zuanayan Tower has secretly surrendered to the 7th prince. Father, do you know who the 7th prince sent this time? It was Taixu Zenran of Taoism, one of the 2 great mentors of the 7th prince. Li Muang said in a voice transmission. What? He was not surprised that Li Muang asked him to surrender to the 7th prince, nor was he surprised that Zuanayan Tower secretly surrendered to the 7th prince. But the Taoist Taixu Zenran appeared here, which surprised him. This is one of the territories of the Buddhist Tantric sect. Both Buddhism and Taoism are missionary sects, which are different from other martial arts forces. They are all developing believers. The 2 families were peaceful on the surface, but secretly they were like fire and water. Taixu Zenran was one of the 3 masters of Kingsu Temple, one of the 3 major sects of Taoism. He came here. If he was not careful, it would cause a war. Are you telling the truth? Li Wei asked in a low voice. Li Muang nodded and transmitted the message. My master said it himself. My master should have met Taixu Zenran. Now Qinglang Temple will definitely decline, Li Wei said. As long as father agrees to join the 7th prince, after Wen Yifan leaves, the position of Lingnan County governor will belong to you. Father, Li Muang continued to transmit the message. Since you have joined, I have no choice. I can't be an enemy of you, my daughter. I agree to join the 7th prince. A man who knows the times is a hero. Li Wei is different from the people in the martial arts world. Although he is good at martial arts, he is actually a member of the official family. It is normal to change camps. Then wait for that Su Chen to help you get Wen Yifan back to the capital, Li Muang said. At this moment, they felt that they were the beneficiaries of this plan. In fact, they didn't know. Once Li Wei took the position of the governor of Lingnan Prefecture, Su Chen would take action against him and control him. So until the end, no one knew who was using whom. Who was the winner? Another place Wen Yifan's mansion. He was drinking tea with Lu Chen, and both of them looked relaxed. I didn't expect things to become so easy, and Qinglang Temple gathered its own strength all of a sudden. Lu Chen took a sip of tea and said, yes. However, the Xiangsha alliance still needs to be contained. I hope brother Lu has time to secretly go to Xiangquanmen to talk to that old fist. Wen Yifan said, I was planning to do so, but what do you think of letting Guan Xianxia arrange someone to kill Li Wei? In the current situation, I will leave Lingnan Prefecture soon. Now that there is no one of mine here, the only one who can take the position is Li Wei, so kill him, so that the position of Lingnan Prefecture governor can be vacant, and when I succeed as governor, I can arrange my people to take over the position of Lingnan Prefecture governor. Wen Yifan said, the court and the martial arts sects are 2 different concepts. The martial arts sects compete for power, and they occupy each other's territory. The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. The court is different. There are certain institutional constraints and a certain order in secret. Whoever destroys it will suffer. Of course, he has an excuse to kill Li Wei. He believes that Zhe Xian'an was killed by Li Wei. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237 Threats, Poisoning, and Frustration. Since you have already arranged it, I won't say anything. But I received an order from the capital. Kinshi, who is beside the third prince, has ideas about the golden plum bottle. He hopes that we can get the golden plum bottle from the golden wind and rain tower. Lu Chen took a sip of tea and said. Hearing Lu Chen's words, Wen Yifan's eyes condensed. He put down the teacup in his hand. He said in a deep voice, although the golden plum bottle can make people recover from injuries, it can also make people possessed. No one who uses the golden plum bottle can escape this fate. How can a person like Kinshi be interested in that thing? The specific situation was not stated there, and I don't know. Lu Chen shook his head and said, the golden plum bottle is now in the hands of the golden wind and rain tower. It is not an easy thing to get the golden plum bottle back from the golden wind and rain tower. Although this thing has disadvantages, it can save lives anyway. The golden wind and rain tower may not give it to them. It's a bit difficult. Although we cooperate with Jinfeng Xiu Tower, we still have to be cautious. It's not hopeful to get the golden plum bottle from them. Can we refuse the capital? Wen Yifan asked. Lu Chen shook his head. Whether they can get it or not, they need to do it first. They can't refuse first. At this time, a figure floated in the hall. The person was wearing a black robe and a mask. What can't be seen from his figure or face? In the hall, Wen Yifan and Lu Chen's pupils shrank suddenly. They couldn't help but raise their internal energy. But at this moment, a terrifying suppression directly pressed on the two of them. The energy that the two had just raised was instantly dispersed. Suddenly, the two looked at the masked man with horror. The strength of the person coming was very terrifying. They were not their opponent. Who are you? This is Wen Yifan's residence. The other party should come for him. And the other party didn't take action immediately, which means that he didn't want to kill them. So he stood up and bowed. When he opened his mouth, a black light shot directly into his mouth, and then he felt a force of energy moving in his chest, and the black light was swallowed directly into his stomach. Lu Chen on the side was stunned and wanted to say something. However, the same black light shot out and entered his mouth. Both of you have been hit by my heavenly evil black soul pill. If there is no antidote after 5 days, your souls will be corroded and you will be possessed by demons. After being possessed by demons, you will not distinguish between enemies and friends, but only fight until you have exhausted your energy and blood. If you want the antidote, you can get me the golden plum bottle obtained from the golden wind and rain tower. Remember that there are only 5 days. I will come again after 5 days. After saying that, the figure turned around and left, disappearing in front of the two people, as if nothing had happened. Looking at the disappearing back of the person who left, the two couldn't help but look at each other. They didn't expect that. After reaching their level, they would be suppressed and forced by others. The people who came also want the golden plum bottle. It seems that the golden plum bottle has a function that we can't think of. Wen Yifan said in a deep voice. Now is not the time to worry about this. We should think about how to break the poison in our body. If we can't break it, we can only find a way to get the golden plum bottle from the golden wind and rain tower. Lu Chen said in a deep voice. But if we get the golden plum bottle and give it to the other party instead of giving it to Master Qin, I'm afraid there will be trouble in the future. Wen Yifan said in a deep voice. Master Qin, it's just trouble over there, but it's life threatening on the other side. I just don't know why the other party is so strong. Why not go directly to the golden wind and rain tower? Lu Chen frowned and said. Being able to suppress them directly in terms of ki, the other party's strength must be at least in the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. Such a strong person, going to the golden wind and rain tower, should be able to force the other party to hand over the golden plum bottle. Is there another strong person in the golden wind and rain tower? Lu Chen continued. While speaking, He also began to check the changes in his body, but did not find any discomfort. His face was extremely gloomy. He couldn't find the poison in his body, which showed that this poison might be more terrible than he imagined. Looking at Wen Yifan also shook his head. He did not check the changes in his body. Haha. I didn't expect that the two people who were in the three difficulties of heaven and man would be so stupid. What they saw just now was not poison at all, but just an ordinary pill. You are so panicked. At this time, a low voice came from outside the hall. Wen Yifan and Lu Chen were stunned. They flew out of the hall directly, looking around, but they didn't find anyone. You can't find me, Wen Yifan. You were not poisoned before, but now you are poisoned. But this poison was given by me. The poison in your body will explode in a while, and it will slowly erode your energy. If you want to solve this kind of trouble, you can find someone stronger than you to help remove this toxin. The person who helps you needs to be stronger than the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. The other guy, you are lucky that I didn't poison you. At this time, the previous voice sounded again. When the voice fell, Wen Yifan's face changed because he felt that the energy in his body began to be eroded and consumed. Wen Yifan's eyes became cold. He scanned the surroundings, but found no trace. The person should have left. How do you feel? Lu Chen asked in a deep voice. The one in front was for the golden plum bottle, and the one behind was for Wen Yifan. He didn't kill him, but just poisoned him, and found a master to force the poison out. The 6 difficulties of heaven and man. Now in the 9 northern counties, only Qinglang Temple has it. Or in other words, the deputy leader of the Xiangxia League who came to the 9 northern counties this time. But these people will not help Wen Yifan. It seems that they want Wen Yifan to leave. Within 10 days, if it cannot be contained, my key will disappear. Once the key disappears, my strength may fall to the heaven and man realm. Wen Yifan said in a deep voice. 10 days. It will take about 10 days to rush from here to the capital. This is not a chance for you to consider. Who do you think sent it? Is it possible that it was sent by the 7th prince? Wen Yifan is one of the leading figures of the 3rd prince in the 9 northern counties. Letting Wen Yifan leave at this time is completely suppressing the power of the 3rd prince. It's possible. The 7th prince traveled around the world and met many strange people in the world. At this time, I'm forced to leave. I'm afraid that he wants to arrange people to come to Lingnan County. Could it be that Li Wei has surrendered to the 7th prince? Wen Yifan said in a deep voice. At this time, the housekeeper in the mansion was coming here. Master, Li Wei's daughter in Zuanayan Tower is back, said the old housekeeper. Li Muang? Rumor has it that she was competing for the position of the 3rd princess of Zuanayan Tower before. It seems that she has become the 3rd princess of Zuanayan Tower. This Li Wei has a good daughter. The 3rd princess of Zuanayan Tower has an extraordinary status in Zuanayan Tower, and as a candidate for the owner of Zuanayan Tower, there should be masters around him. If only the disciples sent by Guanxi and Chao go, they can't kill Li Wei. Wen Yifan said. The strength of Zuanayan Tower is only slightly inferior to that of Daomeng. If Li Wei has masters of Zuanayan Tower beside him, then Guanxi and Chao may not take action. Lu Chen asked in a deep voice. Zuanayan Tower, 7th prince. It seems that Zuanayan Tower has surrendered to the 7th prince. Pass this news to the 3rd prince. I will return to the capital overnight and try to return to the 9 northern counties as soon as possible. Wen Yifan said in a deep voice. There was some anger and frustration between his eyebrows. Today, the two of them were completely passive. They were all threatened. They didn't know who threatened them. Chapter 238, Xiangxia Alliance, Puhu Temple. Outside the mansion, Su Chen, who was hiding in the dark, saw a figure entering the mansion. After a while, the figure left the yard. He came in a hurry, but also left in a hurry. In the dark, Su Chen did not dare to observe the other party, but used the breath covering technique to hide his own breath, so that he would not be discovered by the other party. After a while, a figure came to Su Chen's ears from a distance. Su Chen turned and left. Inside an inn, the 5 poison boy appeared beside Su Chen. My lord, Wen Yifan has been poisoned. Within 10 days, you must find a master of the 6 difficulties of heaven and man to help expel the toxins in his body. But when I was poisoning, a mysterious person came. The mysterious person was very powerful and almost discovered my existence. The 5 poison boy said. I saw that person too. What did he ask Wen Yifan to do? Su Chen said in a deep voice. He asked Wen Yifan to get the golden plum bottle from the golden wind and rain tower. Not only that person wants it, but also from what Wen Yifan and the others said, a man named Qin in the capital also wants the golden plum bottle. The 5 poison boy said. Could there be something in this golden plum bottle that I haven't discovered? By the way, do you know the strength of the person who threatened Wen Yifan and the others? Su Chen didn't dare to investigate. The 5 poison boys might know the other party's strength. The other party is too strong. I didn't dare to investigate, but when Yifan talked to another person and mentioned that the black clothed man's strength should be above the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. Hearing this, Su Chen was stunned. He didn't expect that the black clothed man's strength was actually above the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. He came for the golden plum bottle. Su Chen couldn't help but frowned. Now this golden plum bottle has been sent to Guan Qi. Guan Qi might not be able to withstand the strength of the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. I thought those stronger people in the heaven and man realm were all surrounding the Qinglang temple. I didn't expect them to come here. Su Chen murmured. Suddenly, his expression changed, or thought flashed through his mind. The golden plum bottle is so important, but the Qinglang temple sent it out. It may be to lure away the masters of the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. Maybe we were used by Qinglang temple. Su Chen thought to himself. Thinking of this, Su Chen wanted to consult Zihan Yu. She said that the golden plum bottle came out of the secret treasure. So were the others looking for the secret treasure, or what? If it was for the secret treasure, if he cooperates with Zihan Yu now, it will cause Shanman to be involved in a bigger storm. Zihan Yu is hiding something. Snap. Snap. Su Chen clapped his hands. A figure leaped in from the window like a bat. Go and investigate Zihan Yu and see if you can find the information we want. Su Chen ordered. Yuan Suan's eyes have now recovered, and his strength has also been improved to the 3 difficulties of heaven and man. Not only is his strength strong, but his Qinggang is even more powerful. There is no problem for him to investigate. Of course, Su Chen is also looking for the shadow assassin. When the shadow assassin is found, let Yuan Suan kill him, and finally let Yuan Suan join Shanman as a shadow assassin. No one has ever seen a shadow. Whoever he said was the shadow was the shadow. In this way, he had another expert who could be used openly. Yes. Yuan Suan left quickly. Tell Bei Chaofei the news we got here, and ask him to investigate who the person who came was. Also, ask Bei Chaofei to secretly send the documents about the secret collection to Shanman. I want to investigate carefully. Su Chen said to the 5 poison boy. It is necessary to know who it is for the 6 difficulties in the heavenly realm. As for the secret information, Su Chen was going to investigate it himself to see if he could find any clues. After the 5 poison boy left, Su Chen also returned to Shanman. After Su Chen returned to Shanman, Zihan Yu had already taken down Qin Jianmen. Shanman sent people to Qin Jianmen quickly, occupy Qin Jianmen's territory. Things went smoothly, as if no other forces came to compete. Longbui County, county government 1 room, inside an ordinary house. Zhuge Zhengwo and A Fei sat in it. They arrived in Longbui County a day ago, and were inquiring about the situation of Puhu Temple. Master Zhuge, I checked today, and found that there are many surveillance people around Puhu Temple. They should wait until we kill Abbot Yuan before they start. I checked the identities of these people, and found that they are from Xiangsha League. Ah Fei said. People from Xiangsha League. They are strong enough to take down Puhu Temple. Why don't they just take it down? What is the situation of Puhu Temple now? Zhuge Zhengwo said. It's very quiet. Only a few monks came out to buy some food. They have already closed the temple and announced to the public that Puhu Temple is preparing to meditate and worship Buddha and will not receive pilgrims for the time being. Ah Fei said. Is that so? Zhuge Zhengwo frowned slightly and began to ponder. He always felt that something was not simple. Another place, a manor, living room. A burly man with skin like bronze was sitting on the main chair. Behind him stood a young-looking man. The man was thin, but his eyes were unusually sharp. Below them, on the left chair, sat a man wearing a mask. We have surrounded Puhu Temple, why don't you let us destroy it? The man sitting on the main chair said. His voice was loud, like a bronze bell. He was Leng Xianqi, the deputy leader of Xiangshi League who came to Longbei County. The young man next to him was Yan Zuan, the disciple of the leader. He was the son of Yan Yu, the former commander of the North Pacification Division of Lingnan County. The people I invited should be here. Let them kill first, and then you can do it. This is also for your own good. Puhu Temple originated from Qinglang Temple. It is possible that there are masters of Qinglang Temple ambushing in the temple. If that happens, your Xiangshi League will suffer heavy losses, and this is not what the 7th prince wants to see. The masked man said in a deep voice. Qinglang Temple is under surveillance now. Although we dare not rush in, if anyone comes out, I'm afraid one will die. What's there to worry about? Leng Xianqi said. Yan Zuan, who was standing by, said at this time, Senior, you don't know who you have invited. There are no good assassin organizations in the 9 northern counties now. Qinglang Society, you should be familiar with it. Your father should have died at the hands of the Qinglang Society. The masked man said. Hearing this, Yan Zuan's eyes showed a cold light. Since it is the Qinglang Society, let them take the lead. Leng Xianqi said at this time. Thank you, Uncle Leng. Yan Zuan said. He is the disciple of the leader of Xiangshi League. Leng Xianqi and the leader of Xiangshi League are sworn brothers, so Yan Zuan calls Leng Xianqi Uncle Leng. Senior, but if the assassin of Qinglang Society does not move, our Xiangshi League cannot waste time here. So my nephew suggests that our Xiangshi League can feign to attack Puhu Temple to create an opportunity for them to take action. In this way, if they can kill Monk Huayan, we can also quickly take over Puhu Temple. Yan Zuan suggested. Can you also kill the people from the Qinglang Society and finally put the blame on Puhu Temple? The masked man looked at Yan Zuan and said. Yes. Yan Zuan did not deny his idea. Chapter 239. Provoking trouble. The Xiangquan sect members appear. It is unwise to conceal one's intentions in front of a strong man, so he did not hide it. The masked man glanced at Yan Zuan and said nothing more. Deputy Alliance Leader Leng, this is up to you. If you take Longbei County, your Xiangshi Alliance will successfully enter the 9 northern counties. The masked man said, and got up and left. After the man left, only Yan Zuan and Leng Xianqi were left in the hall. Uncle Leng, they knew that the people from the Qinglang Society might be the ones who killed my father, but they still asked the people from the Qinglang Society to take action. What are they trying to do? Yan Zuan said in a deep voice. What? Find an opponent for us, to check and balance us. Leng Xianqi said. Their Xiangshi Alliance came to the 9 northern counties. Except for the Qinglang Temple, there is no one in the 9 northern counties who can resist them alone. But if several major forces check and balance them, it would be difficult for their Xiangshi Alliance to expand. Then do we still have to take action against the Qinglang Society? Yan Zuan said. The Qinglang Society is a killer organization, just killing people. His father's real enemy is actually the person who made the Qinglang Society take action. He has been investigating and suspects that it may be the Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. However, the strength of the Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower in Lingnan County is not simple. Kill. Even if we don't kill, the other party will kill people and put the blame on us. Leng Xianqi said. Next, you will arrange it and do what you just said. Leng Xianqi then looked at Yan Zuan and said. Yan Zuan was brought out by him to train him. Lingnan County. In the main hall of Shangate, Su Chen sat alone on the chair of the head teacher. He stared at a letter in his hand with a serious look. The Xiangshi League appeared around Puhu Temple and has been surrounding it without moving. Are they waiting for Zhu Zhengwo and the others to take action? From the client's situation, the client should be from the 7th prince's line. The Xiangshi League itself is from the 7th prince's line. Now that they are surrounding Puhu Temple, there is no need to spend money to ask the Qinglang Club to take action. There must be some conspiracy. Now we just have to wait and see what Zhu Zhengwo will do. Zhu Zhengwo's talent and martial arts are not comparable to ordinary people. I believe he can deal with the current situation. But the strength of Leng Xianqi, the deputy leader of the Xiangshi League, must be taken seriously. Leng Xianqi's strength is in the 6 difficulties of heaven and man. It can be said that he is the second master who exceeds the 5 difficulties of heaven and man that Su Chen knows now. Although I don't know who the first black-clothed man is, the Xiangxia League made 2 moves. From the situation, it seems that they have been trying to lure Zhu Zhengwo to make a move, but they underestimated Zhu Zhengwo. Although Zhu Zhengwo is not a killer, he also knows that he must kill with 1 strike. He also needs to be able to withdraw. After all, Zhu Zhengwo is the orangutan of the Qinglang Society and will be in charge of Longbei County in the future, so he is very cautious. Can't make a mistake. Shatter the letter. Then take a look at the second letter. This is the information about Li Muang sent by Jinfeng Xiao Ta, the 3rd princess of Zuanayan Tower, the candidate for the next tower owner. Su Chen murmured. Zuanayan Tower can be said to be a force in the 2nd echelon of the 9 northern counties, and its strength is slightly weaker than that of Daomeng. But it is also very strong. Even if he integrates the 10 major sects in Lingnan County, he will be weaker than the other side. Of course, there are definitely many in terms of momentum and number of people, but there are fewer masters with deep background. If it is just to pick up Li Wei, Li Muang should not come in person. She came to Lingnan County for other purposes. Su Chen thought to himself. Put Li Muang's information on the table. It still needs to be investigated. Congratulations to Shanman for completely occupying Qinjianmen, and reward 1 orange lottery card. Occupying Qinjianmen will actually get an orange lottery card. What a surprise. Su Chen put down Li Muang's information and showed a happy look on his face. Although Zihan Yu took action a little later than Mei Zuanshan, she acted very quickly. She said 3 days. In fact, 1 day later, Zihan Yu took action to eliminate Qinjianmen. Then Su Chen sent people to take over Qinjianmen. Now that the takeover is completed, an orange lottery card has been triggered. On the other side, Cheyenne Villa was also suppressed by Mei Zuanshan, and the disciples of Shanman also entered Cheyenne Villa to take charge of Cheyenne Villa. I believe that it won't be long before Su Chen will have another orange lottery card. During this period, I still have to trigger more awards in Shanman. Su Chen thought to himself. At this time, the fat man rushed directly into the headmaster's hall. His face was full of sweat and his breath seemed very hurried. What's the matter? Why are you in such a hurry? Boss, I've been busy with the bank these days and neglected to investigate the Shangate. Some elders of the Shangate are preparing to impeach you and use force to remove you from the position of Shangate's headmaster. The fat man said hurriedly. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes turned cold and he sent a list up. Su Chen saw that half of the elders on the list were from the old generation and his face was extremely gloomy. He didn't expect that when Shangate was expanding so much, there were still elders inside Shangate who wanted to deal with him. There should be someone behind them planning it. Do you know who it is? Su Chen asked in a deep voice. His tone was cold. With so many people, there should be someone who instigated or planned it. I haven't checked this clearly, but the initiator is Wu Yao from the previous headmaster peak. They decided to force you, the headmaster, tomorrow, said the fat man. A bunch of people who don't know how to live or die. Since they want to die, then let them do it. Now our Shan sect is expanding. It's really courting death. To pick a fight at this time. I gave them some power because they were elders of Shan sect before. Now they are courting death. So let's send them off. Su Chen said coldly. Then I'll notify Elder Li to arrest them. The fat man said. No need. Aren't they going to force the emperor to abdicate tomorrow? I really want to see if there are other people who jump out. If they jump out, we'll kill them together. There should be someone else secretly planning this matter. You can investigate secretly and see who is behind it, Su Chen said coldly. After that, he said to a place in the headmaster's hall, 5 poison boys, go help Fatty. Su Chen sent the 5 poison boys to assist Fatty. After the 2 left, Su Chen's face became gloomy. If Fatty hadn't come to report, he really wouldn't have noticed this situation. I want to see how you can cause chaos. Su Chen snorted coldly, and there was a flash of murderous intent in his eyes. This time he wanted to let the people in Shanman know his methods and strength. Those who dare to cause chaos will be killed. Another place. In a forest outside Shanman, a man in black was standing with his hands behind his back. The man in black was about 30 years old, with a rough look, bronze skin, thick eyebrows and big eyes. He looked strong and powerful, not a good person. An old man in a shaman robe appeared behind the man in black. "Hello, sir. How is the matter going?" Reporting to the sir, "I have convinced many people here, and we can take down Chen tomorrow. When the time comes, I will immediately issue a notice that our shaman will become a subsidiary force of Xiangquanmen," the man said, and this man was Wu Yao mentioned by the fat man. And the man turned out to be a member of Xiangquanmen who is now confronting Qinglang Temple. Chapter 240 Key and Blood Furnace, 5 Poison Boys. Very good, then. I will also enter the hall secretly. If there is any change, I will help you to kill that Chen with one punch, the man said. His tone was overbearing, and he did not take Chen seriously at all. "Thank you very much, sir." Hearing this, Wu Yao's face showed excitement. The man's strength was at the level of unity of spirit and soul. Chen's strength was just a punch in front of a strong man with unity of spirit and soul. The two then talked for a few minutes. Wu Yao turned and left. After Wu Yao left, a woman with a graceful figure and wearing a green shirt walked out of the dark. For a force like Shanman, it still needs to be planned. Isn't it better to just take action directly? The green shirted woman who walked out said. Sometimes, it's better not to do it yourself. Xiangquanmen bypassed the confrontation with Qinglang Temple and sent us to various counties to take down some potential forces. Once discovered, I'm afraid the Sifangu and other forces will do the same. This will disrupt the plan of the young master, the man said. But why did you choose Shanman? This Shanman has connections with several major forces in Lingnan County. If you take action, aren't you afraid of stirring up a hornet's nest in Lingnan County? The woman said. From the current situation, they can kill Chen without me taking action. According to the information we got earlier, those people are only related to Chen. When Chen dies, this relationship is broken. Can they still be enemies with our Xiangquan sect? What's more, it was the young sect master's intention to take down this Shanman, the man said. Since it was the young sect master's intention, it can't be wrong. When talking about the young sect master, the woman's eyes were full of respect. Although the young sect master of Xiangquan sect is rarely known in the 9 northern counties, people in Xiangquan sect admire him very much. There is no doubt that the only successor to the Xiangquan sect master is this young sect master, and there will be no one else. It can't be wrong. How can it be right? It's a mistake for you to come to Shanman at this time. A voice spread in the forest. The voice was like that of a child. But the two people in the forest became nervous and looked around. Whoosh. At this moment, a figure came out from the forest opposite them. It was the 5 Poison Boy besides Chen. Wu Yao was the initiator of this event. When Wu Yao left Shangate, the 5 Poison Boy followed him. The 5 Poison Boy was dressed like a child and looked no different from a child. His eyes were clear and pure. They were definitely not something an adult could have. But the two people became nervous because a child could not just appear in front of them like this. Avoid their ears. Who are you? The man looked at the 5 Poison Boy and said. I should ask you. Tell me your names, the immortal and nameless ghosts under my command. The 5 Poison Boy said. The voice was crisp, but the man and the woman in green opposite him trembled when they heard the words. You go first, I'll kill him, the man said to the woman beside him. As he spoke, blood flowed over the man's tall body, his eyes revealed a hint of bloodthirsty impulse, and his mouth curled up. He raised his fist. The Xiangquan sect is divided into 2 factions. One faction is to condense ki and blood, temper the flesh, and constantly merge its own strength with ki and blood to produce more powerful strength. This faction focuses on strength and body. As long as there are resources, it can be continuously improved, but the achievement is limited. There are very few strong people who break through the unity of spirit and soul and enter the realm of heaven and man. The other faction practices ki power, which drives the fist power, constantly refines ki power, and finally comprehends the meaning of fist. From this situation, it can be seen that the ki power practice side has higher achievements. However, practicing ki power requires talent. If the talent is not good, even if there are resources, it will be very slow, or there will be no progress. Therefore, The power faction and the Xiangquan sect is actually the mainstream of practice. Of course. Now this phenomenon has changed. The young master of the Xiangquan sect is extraordinary and talented. He can follow the key power faction. But he chose the power faction. He directly entered the realm of heaven and man in the form of power. He also passed on his Ki and blood furnace technique and scarlet blood extreme evil technique to everyone. Those people in Xiangquan sect who had weak Ki and blood began to have more Ki and blood. They were expected to enter the heavenly man realm. Therefore, in Xiangquan sect, the young sect master Beijisan was a legendary figure and the object of everyone's worship and respect. However, this person rarely showed up. There was almost no news about this person outside Xiangquan sect. Boom. The man kicked the ground and the ground shattered. The whole person was like a cannonball, directly bombarding the 5 poison boy. He did not hold back, because the 5 poison boy was a child. The speed was extremely fast, turning into a residual image, with a violent force, that broke through the air. Before the person arrived, a hard force suppressed the 5 poison boy. The 5 poison boy's face condensed, and the Ki on his body surged, repelling this force, and his figure retreated like a ghost. Boom. The punch hit the place where the 5 poison boy had stood before. The ground was like being blown up by a cannonball. The man who attacked seemed to have expected that his punch would have no effect. He continued to rush towards the 5 poison boy and shouted, "Red extreme blood fist." The bloody aura on his fist was like the scorching sun, attacking the 5 poison boy. But this time, the 5 poison boy did not retreat. Instead, a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. "Your blood is very strong, so let your blood burn faster." The voice was low, but it was frightening. The man who attacked did not understand the meaning of the 5 poison boy's words. The fist he attacked did not stop at all. But suddenly his expression changed, and the blood in his body was out of his control, like boiling water, constantly surging and gurgling. The surge of blood is a good thing. But if it surges too much, and is not under his control, it will be very dangerous. The blood on his fist also disappeared at this moment. He turned into a furnace and his body became red. His skin emitted bursts of heat. The whole person was like a cooked crab. Ah! The man who attacked let out a scream, and flames came out of his body. The scream did not last long, and the man who attacked turned into charcoal. On the other side, the woman saw this, and showed horror on her face. She did not expect that the person who attacked with him just now would spontaneously combust. Needless to say, it must be the work of the childlike person in front of her. "I have put a blazing poison on your body. If you don't want to be like him, just stay still." The 5 poison boy looked at the green shirted woman and said. The green shirted woman trembled all over. She looked at the charred corpse on the ground. She stood there motionless. "Tell me who you are, and where you are from." The 5 poison boy's voice was low, forming a demonic voice in the woman's ears. "We are from the Xiangquan sect, and were sent by the young sect master to Lingnan County, to secretly subdue some sects, in order to expand the strength of the Xiangquan sect." The green shirted woman said. "How many of you are here in total?" The 5 poison boy looked at the other party and said. "We are here." When she said this, a silver light suddenly appeared in the hands of the green shirted woman. "Go to hell," the woman in green said sternly. Chapter 241 Yan Nanshan, 9 Difficulties of Heaven and Man. Although she had cooperated well before, she knew that the person who appeared would not let her leave alive. So she pretended to cooperate with him, thinking of taking advantage of the moment when he was relaxed to launch a sneak attack. As for how to cure the poison in her body, she was not worried. She believed that the other party must have it. She could kill him and take it from him. She acted decisively. The hidden weapon she fired was also very fast. The silver light penetrated the body of the 5 poison boy. The green shirted woman showed excitement on her face. But at this moment, the figure of the 5 poison boy disappeared. It was a shadow. The figure of the 5 poison boy had appeared in front of the green shirted woman. "I gave you a way to die peacefully, but you don't want it, and I have to force you." The cold voice of the 5 poison boy echoed in front of the green shirted woman. The green shirted woman's eyes blurred. She lost consciousness and fell to the ground. Some things have not been figured out yet. This green shirted woman is still useful. He raised his hand and grabbed the green shirted woman and went to a place. He has a way to make this woman say what he wants. Inside the mountain and river gate. In the hall, the 5 poison boys have returned. Heavenly Fist Sect. 5 people have come, sent by the young master of the Heavenly Fist Sect. Chen frowned slightly when he heard the words of the 5 poison boys. He did not expect that at this time. The Heavenly Fist Sect had already had ideas about Lingnan County. Bring me the information of the young master of the Heavenly Fist Sect. Chen ordered the fat man. He got the information from the woman. This plan was planned by the young master of the Heavenly Fist Sect, Beijizan. And the young master of the Heavenly Fist Sect is actually a strong man who is in a difficult situation. We must pay attention. My lord, these are the 2 secret books I got from her and copied down. The 5 poison boys handed the 2 secret books he copied to Chen. One is the Red Blood Extreme Evil skill, and the other is the Key in Blood Hot Furnace skill. Obtain the Red Blood Extreme Evil skill, the Key in Blood Hot Furnace skill, the first half, and reward 1 orange lottery card. Well, only the first half. Chen frowned slightly. But think about it, Xiangquan sect will not sell all of this kind of skills at once. You should reach a certain level before you can get the following skills. Shan sect takes over Cheyenne Villa and rewards 1 orange lottery card. I didn't expect to get 3 orange lottery cards in a short period of time. Chen thought to himself. Now the real masters of the 9 northern counties have begun to move, and I still need to add some trump cards here. Thinking about it, he directly drew these 3 orange lottery cards. Get the character Yan Nanshan, get the Guan Qi 50 years internal strength card, and get the character A Fei's late years sword comprehending card. Seeing this, Chen's face showed joy. Yan Nanshan is definitely a top-ranked strongman in Gulong's novels. He is a top master who appeared in The Twins of the Unparalleled and The Legend of the Great Banner Heroes. Who can compare with him? It is estimated that only the master of Taizan Tangan, The Legend of the Great Banner Heroes, Yi Di, can be compared. Yan Nanshan has 3 unique skills. Wedding Dress Magic Skill, Southern Heaven Divine Fist, and Divine Sword Art. He is known as the world's #1 swordsman and the world's #1 hero in the Twins and the Heroes of the Banner. I wonder how strong Yan Nanshan is? Has he already cultivated the Wedding Dress Divine Art? Martial Arts Zen, Wedding Dress Divine Art. If Yan Nanshan has not yet completed the final Wedding Dress Divine Art, in that case, he can pass on his own magic to himself. Let his strength increase directly. Check Yan Nanshan's strength. Heaven and Man 9 difficulties. Seeing this, Chen's pupils suddenly widened. He didn't expect that this time, he would actually get such a person. Heaven and Man 9 difficulties. According to the analysis of the information obtained now, there has not been a strong man who surpasses Heaven and Man 9 difficulties in the Great Zhao dynasty. Awesome. It's really awesome. With this Heaven and Man 9 difficulties, he can also go to the capital. After checking Yan Nanshan's other situations, it was found that the other party's Wedding Dress Divine Art had been cultivated. The plan to obtain the other party's skills failed. Then check Guan Qi's 50 years of internal strength. This is the internal strength that improves Guan Qi's strength. Chen used it directly on Guan Qi. In the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, Guan Qi's current strength has entered the 4th level of Heaven and Man. He has not made any move for the time being, so he has been practicing in seclusion. Guan Qi's own foundation lies in the inner self, and he has been madly swallowing pills to improve his Qi. He is now immune to the evil spirit in the Golden Plum Vase, so he can use the Golden Plum Vase to recover from his injuries, so he is practicing completely overloaded. He hopes that he can break through to the 5th level of Heaven and Man as soon as possible. Boom. At this moment, there was an extra force in his body, 50 years of his own Qi internal force, and crazy Qi permeated his body. Suddenly, an invisible wave of air spread out to the surroundings. It shook the wall of the secret room. The wall of the secret room was directly hit by this Qi and became larger. Fortunately, this secret room is underneath. Otherwise, the whole house will collapse. Of course, there was still a shaking in the backyard of the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower, which gave people the feeling that there was an earthquake here. Under this surge of Qi, Guan Qi's strength increased wildly, and he reached the 5th level of Heaven and Man, and the 6th level of Heaven and Man. 50 years of internal strength allowed him to enter the 6 difficulties of Heaven and Man. After entering the 6 difficulties of heaven and man, Guan Qi stabilized his aura. On the Shangate side, Su Chen checked Ah Fei's swordsmanship perception in his later years. In Gulong's novels, Ah Fei in his later years was an extremely skilled master. He thought that, if he absorbed it, his strength would be improved. But this perception was for Ah Fei. He had no share, so he just clicked it and let Ah Fei absorb it. At this time, a place in Longbei County, Ah Fei suddenly looked startled, and a vague figure appeared in his mind. This figure turned out to be himself. It was just that he was a little old. When that figure appeared, swordsmanship perceptions continued to flow into his mind. This is my swordsmanship perception in my later years. Ah Fei knew when this perception appeared. He quickly absorbed this feeling. Ah Fei, who had already entered the state of unity of spirit and soul, felt that he had made rapid progress in the way of sword. Zhu Zhengguo, who was not far from him, sensed something and looked at Ah Fei. The sword that had been exposed before quickly disappeared in Ah Fei's body. Perhaps it is more appropriate to call it introversion rather than disappearance. The way of sword has broken through, and it still gives me a vague sense of pressure. This understanding of the way of sword is not ordinary. Zhu Zhengguo looked at the changes in Ah Fei. He thought to himself. Zhu Zhengguo practiced the way of gun, the way of attack and conquest. Ah Fei's sword was fast and killing before, but now it seems to have completely settled down. The way of sword has reached another realm. Ah Fei opened his eyes, and a sword light flashed in his eyes. Look at your spirit. It won't be long before you can enter the realm of heaven and man. Zhu Zhengguo said. It takes a fight. I can kill an ordinary heaven and man who is difficult to fight with, Ah Fei said. With the understanding of his later years, his sword cultivation is stronger. He is sure to kill an ordinary warrior who is difficult to fight with. Hearing Ah Fei's words, Zhu Zhengguo's face showed joy. The situation in Longbei County is a bit complicated now. He has been very cautious and has not taken any action. Now that Ah Fei's strength has increased, he can start to deal with Huo Yuan of Puhu Temple. Your strength has increased, and my plan should be able to start, Zhu Zhengguo said. He has not only been waiting recently, but also collected a lot of information. Now the time is ripe. Chapter 242. Ah Fei takes action. Zhu Zhengguo moves. Another place. The Xiangshi League's camp in Longbei County. Uncle Leng, the Qinglang Society has not moved. Are we really going to waste time like this? Yan Zuan said. They created chaos several times, giving the Qinglang Society people a chance to make a move. But the Qinglang Society never made a move. Have you found out where the Qinglang Society is? Leng Xianxi said. We have too few spies in Longbei County to know where they are. Yan Zuan shook his head. The people we control in Gisha Mansion don't know the information about the Qinglang Society's visitor this time. The visitor just sent the message secretly and didn't show up at all. The people who came from the Qinglang Society this time are very cautious. Yan Zuan frowned. This Qinglang Society is not simple. If that's the case, then we don't have to wait and take down Puhu Temple as soon as possible. Leng Xianxi said in a deep voice. You make arrangements here and take action against Puhu Temple tomorrow. When the time comes, you stay with me. Leng Xianxi said. He is not going to wait any longer. Destroy Puhu Temple and increase control over Longbei County. Let Xiangshi League become the biggest winner in Longbei County. Go and make arrangements and start early tomorrow morning. Night is the best time to make a move, but Leng Xianxi likes to make a move during the day so that the strength of Xiangshi League can be demonstrated. I'll go and make arrangements, Yan Zuan said. At this time, in another place, Zhu Zhengguo walked in front of Ah Fei with a piece of letter in his hand. Ah Fei took the letter, and on the letter was a name. Xiangshi League, Qianmu Hall Master Liu Qingfeng. This Liu Qingfeng just entered the first level of heaven and man half a year ago. I have observed his breath. He should have used drugs to stimulate entering the first level of heaven and man. With your current swordsmanship, it is not difficult to kill him, Zhu Zhengguo said. Mr. Zhuge means to kill the people of Xiangshi League. Ah Fei was a little confused. The Xiangshi Alliance is plotting against us, so it's normal for us to kill their people. Liu Qingfeng will change guard to data monitor Puhu Temple. This is our chance to kill him. If we kill him, the Xianxia Alliance will lose a master of the Heavenly Man realm. According to the information I got, there are 2 masters of the Heavenly Man realm in Puhu Temple, the Abbot Huayuan and his junior brother Huamu. Under normal circumstances, they should not be able to resist. But the Xianxia Alliance has provoked several times, and Puhu Temple has fought back. It means that there are people in Puhu Temple who can deal with or temporarily compete with Leng Xianqi. If the Xianxia Alliance loses a master of the Heavenly Man realm, this is Puhu Temple's opportunity. I think Puhu Temple will seize this opportunity if they want to break through or counterattack. Of course, even if they don't move, I will force them to seize this opportunity. Zhu Zhengwo's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Okay, when does this person want to die? When Puhu Temple is on fire, you take action and kill him. Zhu Zhengwo said. Late at night. Puhu Temple, a silence Puhu Temple was also very quiet during the day, and it was even quieter at night. No one could be seen. Winter nights are lonely and cold in themselves, and now under the moonlight, Puhu Temple seemed a little desolate. Whoosh. At this time, more than a dozen figures suddenly appeared in Puhu Temple. These people were very fast, wearing black robes to hide their aura. They did not make any sound while walking. More than a dozen people went in different directions. After sneaking into a wing room, they took out fire starters and started to set fire. After setting the fire, they quickly evacuated. It seemed that their purpose of coming here was to set fire. Suddenly, more than a dozen fires appeared in Puhu Temple, illuminating the sky. The monks in the temple began to appear one after another to extinguish the flames, but the flames were too loud. The entire Puhu Temple seemed very busy. Damn Xianxia League, are they consuming our strength? In a wing room, several monks in cassocks gathered together. The leader was a monk with white beard and white eyebrows, the abbot of Puhu Temple, Monk Huayan. The one who spoke was a burly monk. His eyes were like copper bells. Recently, the Xianxia League has been harassing their Puhu Temple, but once they fought, the Xianxia League people withdrew. There was no real fight. Now that the fire broke out, they all thought it was set by the Xianxia League. This Leng Xianqi is too despicable. Master Mingyan, what should we do now? The burly monk looked at a monk in a black robe sitting next to Monk Huayan. Monk Huayan also looked at the black-robed monk. Wait. Leng Xianqi has not appeared. We can only wait. The black-robed monk said. On the other side, outside Puhu Temple, 2 figures appeared on the top of the pavilion, looking at the fire in Puhu Temple. One of them was wearing a brocade robe and looked a little young. It was Liu Qingfeng that Zhu Zheng mentioned. Check and see what happened over at Puhu Temple. Liu Qingfeng ordered the people beside him. The people beside him quickly went towards the direction of Puhu Temple. Liu Qingfeng stood on the top of the pavilion and looked at Puhu Temple. Suddenly, his expression changed. He looked not far away, and a young man holding a long sword in his hand was looking at him. The moment he saw the other party, Liu Qingfeng's whole spirit was highly tense, staring at the young man holding the long sword. This young man gave him a very dangerous feeling. The young man who appeared was Arfei. Who are you? Liu Qingfeng looked at Arfei and said. Arfei did not reply, but walked towards the other party, and his spirit and energy continued to condense into sword intent. These sword intents silently flowed into the long sword in his hand. Arfei was not careless about Liu Qingfeng. The warriors who can step into the realm of heaven and man are not simple characters. Seeing Arfei coming, Liu Qingfeng's face condensed. The danger in his heart was getting closer and closer, and he had a feeling in his heart that he must not let the other party draw his sword. Once the other party draws his sword, he may be in danger. Boom. At this time, he did not hesitate and rushed towards Arfei. Suddenly, in the darkness, only a blurry figure could be seen. When the figure approached Arfei, Liu Qingfeng made a move, and his palm blasted out. A terrible and fiery force burst out. This is Liu Qingfeng's unique skill, the red sand palm. The palm was like the yellow sand shooting out in the desert. With a burning feeling, Arfei held the sword in his hand. His eyes were focused, and he endured the suppression of the fiery energy. When the palm was about to reach him, swish, the long sword in his hand was pulled out instantly, directly piercing the fiery energy, appearing in the opponent's wrist, and then turned directly. The sharp sword energy directly cut the opponent's palm. Liu King Feng screamed. But then the sound stopped abruptly. Because when Ah Feng's sword cut his palm, it turned into a sword light in an instant and pierced his throat. Put away the sword. Then a signal firework rose from where he was. Outside Puhu Temple. Zhu Zheng saw this signal and nodded to the person beside him. That person led people into Puhu Temple. Avenge Master Liu. This voice appeared in Puhu Temple. Chapter 243. Stunning shot. First kill. Monk Hua Yuan and others who were gathered in the Zen temple heard this voice. Their faces changed. It was just awesome before. How come it turned into a fight now? I'll go check it out. Monk Huamu said. After that, he pushed open the Zen door, but at this time, a dart shot at the door of the wing room. Monk Huamu looked at the dart. There was a piece of cloth hanging at the bottom of the dart, with the words Liu King Feng is dead written on it. Seeing this cloth, the monk Huamu's eyes condensed. Who is Liu King Feng? Everyone knows that the head of Xianmu Hall who came to Xiangsha League now is dead. Monk Huamu turned and left. He wanted to check whether Liu King Feng was dead or not. After a while, the monk Huamu returned. Liu King Feng is dead. The first sentence Huamu said after entering the Zen room. Who is helping us? Monk Huayuan said in a deep voice. Brother, now it's not about who helps us, but this is an opportunity for us to evacuate. Maybe before we evacuate, we can still inflict heavy damage on the Xiangsha League. Huayuan said. His eyes were looking at Monk Mingyuan next to Huayuan. Things are a bit weird, but now is indeed an opportunity. I'll go and entangle Leng Xianqi, and you guys make the other arrangements. Monk Mingyuan stood up. Opportunities don't wait, and they can't miss such an opportunity. After Monk Mingyuan left. Brother, let's evacuate now. Huayuan said. Although he was unwilling in his heart, he knew that this was an opportunity to evacuate. You take people away, and I'll cover you. Monk Huayuan said. Brother, I'll stay behind to cover you, and you take the disciples away. Huayuan said hurriedly. I'm the abbot of Puhu Temple. As long as Leng Xianqi doesn't come, the other two, I want to leave. They can't stop me. Huayuan said. Then brother, be careful. Immediately disperse and lead the disciples to leave through the secret passage. Huayuan walked out of the meditation room to the others and began to organize the disciples to leave. Puhu Temple has a secret passage for escape. Such preparations have been made these days. The people sent by Zhu Zhengwo in front are no match for the people of Puhu Temple, and they are evacuating quickly. For a while, Huayuan was the only one in the Zen temple. Donor, since you are here, please show yourself. The monk Huayuan walked out of the Zen room and said, I didn't expect that the master had discovered me. Zhu Zhengwo's figure floated in the Zen temple and looked at the monk Huayuan. Are you from Xiangsha League? Huayuan looked at Zhu Zhengwo who appeared. Zhu Zhengwo looked about 30 years old, with clear outlines, eyes that seemed to be open and closed, with flashes of light from time to time, and a long spear in his hand. The hand of the spear, a world of power gathered on his spear. He had never seen such a person in the 9 northern counties, so he thought Zhu Zhengwo was a member of Xiangsha League. I'm Zhu Zhengwo, the head of the February Hall of Qinglang Club. I came to take the master's life today, Zhu Zhengwo said. Qinglang Society, a rising power in Lingnan County. Monk Huayuan knew something about Qinglang Society, but he didn't expect that someone from Lingnan County would appear in Longbei County. Zhu Zhengwo, a new figure in Qinglang Society, a master of spear. As soon as he appeared, he killed a master who was in the realm of heaven and man with the strength of the spirit and soul. Judging from the momentum of the other party has obviously entered the realm of heaven and man. Then I will come to experience Mr. Zhuge, your spear. Qinglang Society is a killer organization, and there is no point in him talking to the other party. Monk Huayuan made a move in an instant, raised his palm, opened it like an eagle's claw, and jumped towards Zhu Zhengwo's head. The claws were like a sharp blade out of the sheath. It didn't look like a compassionate Buddhist at all. Zhu Zhengwo looked solemn, and the long spear in his hand was instantly clenched, and then quickly raised it, and the long spear stabbed out instantly, and the silver light shot out from the tip of the spear, meeting the eagle's claw like a sharp blade. The monk Huayuan's expression remained unchanged. His palms changed, turning into thousands of claws, forcefully piercing through Zhu Zhengwo's spear. At this moment, a golden light appeared on his body. Now the situation has changed. He wants to fight quickly. So he prepared to use the golden cicada technique to defend against Zhu Zhengwo's spear attack. And his palm directly cracked Zhu Zhengwo's head. Seeing the opponent's breakthrough, Zhu Zhengwo frowned slightly, retreated rapidly, and turned the spear in his hand to block the sharp claws of the monk Huoyuan. Suddenly, a series of noises broke out at the place where they fought. The monk Huoyuan took the initiative. One blow suppressed. The monk Huoyuan's palm became more and more fierce. For a while, the whole Zen temple was full of golden palms. Zhu Zhengwo could only use his spear to resist, but he was approached step by step. Suddenly, subduing Tiger Vajra fist Huoyuan roared, changed his palm into a fist, and punched out. A tiger in the fist went towards Zhu Zhengwo. At this time, Zhu Zhengwo saw this, and instead of retreating, he moved forward, and his spear collided with the opponent's ki. Boom. The two of them retreated violently. When Zhu Zhengwo retreated, a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his spear was against the ground. But the monk Huoyuan just retreated, and the ki in his body rolled for a while, and then he was suppressed. After a successful attack, the monk Huoyuan did not stop at all. With a step on the ground, the whole person was like a tiger coming down the mountain, and he went towards Zhu Zhengwo. A powerful ki burst out from his body, suppressing Zhu Zhengwo. At this time, Zhu Zhengwo's eyes flashed. The half-broken brocade in his body quickly circulated. Half-broken brocade. It is a very strange method. The more serious the injury, the faster it heals. And it can also temporarily suppress the aggravation of the injury. This is a method that can heal both yourself and others. The reason why Zhu Zhengwo just took the blow from the monk Huoyuan was because of this method. Injury suppression. He clenched the spear in his hand, and when the opponent attacked, he fired the spear instantly. It was a stunning shot. At this time, the monk Huoyuan who attacked only saw a firework flashing in front of him. He hurriedly punched out to block the attack. Bang! The fist collided with the spear, and his fist force seemed to be triggered by the opponent's spear at this moment, and exploded directly. The whole person was shocked by this energy and flew backwards. At the moment of flying backwards, a silver light appeared directly in his sight. Then it disappeared. At this time, he found that he could not make a sound in his throat. There was an extra spear at his throat. The silver light just now was Zhu Zhengwo's spear. This spear pierced through his golden cicada defense and pierced his throat. This is, what? A hoarse, stuttering voice came out of Huoyuan's mouth. A stunning shot. Zhu Zhengwo finished, and his figure flashed and disappeared into the night. The purpose of their coming here was to kill Huoyuan, and now Huoyuan has no chance of survival. Plop. Huoyuan watched Zhu Zhengwo leave and fell directly to the ground. At this time, on a rooftop, a man in black looked at Huoyuan lying on the ground. A notebook appeared in his hand. He quickly recorded something, and turned and disappeared. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244, The 12 Zodiac Cards, The Secret of Stepping Out of the 9 Difficulties of Heaven and Man. The battle continued. But it had nothing to do with the Qinglang Society. Zhu Zhengwo and Dai Fei had already left. Their mission was completed, and the next step was to organize the people from Gisha Mansion and Jilalao who had been subdued by Longbei County, expand the reputation of Ariatang of Qinglang Society. After a while, Yan Zuan of Xiangsha League and the 2 Hall Masters rushed to the Zen Temple and looked at Huoyuan who was lying on the ground. They immediately stepped forward to investigate. The one who attacked should be the Hall Master of Ariatang of Qinglang Society, Zhu Zhengwo, who was really good at calculation. Yan Zuan said in a deep voice, "Take Huoyuan's body and leave." Yan Zuan ordered people to take Huoyuan's body. Now the people of Puhu Temple have left. It is useless for them to occupy this temple. Xiangsha League stronghold. In the hall, Leng Xianqi looked at the 2 bodies placed in front of him with a gloomy face. Liu Qingfeng and Monk Huoyuan. He was dragged by Monk Mingyuan and did not go to Puhu Temple. After severely injuring Mingyuan, he returned. The disciples of Xiangxia League had already brought back Liu Qingfeng's body. After a while, Yan Zuan and his companions returned with the corpse of Monk Huoyuan. This time, we were tricked by the Qinglang Society. Can you find out who killed Qingfeng? Liu Qingfeng said. Deputy Alliance Leader, Hall Master Liu was killed by a sword. The person who killed him was extremely fast, and Hall Master Liu didn't dodge at all. There are two people in the Qinglang Society who use fast swords. One is called A Fei, and the other is called Jing Wuming. But these two people are not strong enough to kill Hall Master Liu, said Liu Muchuan, the head of Xianshan Hall below him. While Liu Muchuan was talking, Yan Zuan came to Liu Qingfeng, staring at Liu Qingfeng's wound with his eyes tightly knitted. Yan Zuan, what did you see here? Uncle Leng, Hall Master Liu should have died at the hands of A Fei of the Qinglang Society, Yan Zuan said in a deep voice. According to the information, A Fei's strength has not yet entered the state of unity of spirit and soul. Judging from the wound, the opponent killed Master Liu head on. How can a warrior who has not yet entered the state of unity of spirit and soul kill a master of the heavenly realm? Liu Muchuan, who spoke earlier, said. A middle-aged man in a blue shirt next to Liu Muchuan said, Young Alliance Master, you should have seen something. Tell us. Yan Zuan is a disciple of the leader of the Xiangxia Alliance. He is called the Young Alliance Master in the Xiangxia Alliance. Of course, he is not the only Young Alliance Master. The wound. I have checked some information about the Qinglang Society. The wound left by A Fei when he attacked before is consistent with the wound of Master Liu. That A Fei is a swordsman. He can't give his sword to others, so I'm sure that the person who attacked was A Fei. Yan Zuan said. Someone from the Qinglang Society attacked and killed his father. He has studied the people of the Qinglang Society a lot. From the wound, he can see that the wound was caused by A Fei's sword from the Qinglang Society. But what is A Fei's strength? Liu Muchuan was still a little confused. Strength can be hidden, or it may be that A Fei's strength has improved by leaps and bounds during this period. Yan Zuan said. Qinglang Society, they dare to kill our people. We must make them pay the price. Deputy Alliance Leader, please leave this matter to me. I will definitely find these people from Qinglang Society. Liu Muchuan volunteered. Now is not the time to find Qinglang Society. We have just taken over Puhu Temple, and we must quickly occupy the territory and power they previously controlled. You two should send people now. Don't give others a chance. Yan Zuan, you stay. Leng Xianqi ordered. Yes. The two bowed and left. Only Leng Xianqi and Yan Zuan were left. We still underestimated the people from Qinglang Society. Unexpectedly, they actually took action in advance when we couldn't wait. This person has a good grasp of the timing. We need to be careful. Leng Xianqi said. Yan Zuan didn't expect the other party to take action at this time. You now know that Qinglang Society is not simple. At this time, a black shadow rushed into the hall. The person wearing a black mask sat on a wooden chair. You have been here all the time. Why didn't you kill Zhu Zhengwo? Leng Xianqi looked at the person who came and said, it's no longer necessary. He killed the head of your Xianmu Hall. You two are already enemies. Why should I do anything more? The man in black said. Their purpose was very clear, just to find someone to contain the Xiangxia Alliance. Now that the two sides are already enemies, there is no need for him to take action again. What's more, he also got news. The other two assassin targets were also killed. Huang Furong of Kangchen City in Kangwu County was killed by Zhao Qiushu. Gong Sanzan of Bidi County was pierced through the throat by a sword. The person who attacked was wearing a bamboo hat, but they knew that the person was the head of Senai Hall of Qinglang Society, who accepted their mission. They had no clues about his specific identity and appearance. As for the sword, he followed the way of killing, with sharp moves and fierce sword energy. This shows that the Qinglang Society is not simple. So even if the Qinglang Club didn't kill Liu Qingfeng, he didn't plan to do it. You came here just to say these words. Leng Xianqi looked at the man in black and said, now that you have occupied Puhu Temple, I will give the order to the 7th Prince. No affiliated forces of the Qinglang Temple can exist in Longbei County. The man in black said. Even if the 7th Prince didn't say this, we would do it. Leng Xianqi said. This is just one point. Another point is that you can't touch the main figures of the Longbui County government. Of course you can move them, but if something goes wrong, the 7th prince won't help you at all. After saying that, the man in black turned and left without stopping. Uncle Leng, this 7th prince really treats us as his subordinates, and we are just cooperating with them. Yan Zuan said coldly. It doesn't matter, you also know that the main purpose of our coming this time is to find the 12 zodiac cards that the leader wants, and we need to rely on their relationship. Leng Xianxi said. But we have no idea about these 12 zodiac cards. Yan Zuan said in a deep voice. We can't rush this matter. Let's stabilize Longbui County first, and then investigate. But the leader speculated that the 12 zodiac cards may be related to the appearance of the golden plum bottle. Leng Xianxi said. The golden plum bottle is now in the hands of Guan Qi of Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. I will use the spies in Lingnan County to keep an eye on Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Yan Zuan said. We may not be the only ones who want the zodiac cards. We must not be careless. Leng Xianxi said. Uncle Leng, what is the use of the 12 zodiac cards? Yan Zuan asked. It is rumored that the 12 zodiac cards contain the secret of breaking through the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. Brother, after entering the 9 difficulties of heaven and man, they have not been able to find a way to improve, so the 12 zodiac cards are the clues we must find. Leng Xianxi said directly without hiding anything. Hearing this, Yan Zuan showed surprise on his face. He didn't expect that the 12 zodiac cards actually had the secret of breaking through the 9 difficulties of heaven and man. In this case, I'm afraid there are really many strong people staring at Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Chapter 245. Kill with one sword, punish by association, clean up, mountain and river gate. Inside the cave, Su Chen sat cross-legged, sweat dripping from his forehead, his face changing, as if he was in severe pain. After a long time, Su Chen's complexion gradually recovered. He opened his eyes and wiped the sweat from his forehead. This life and death sutra of Qinglang Temple is really not simple. Su Chen thought to himself. Some time ago, with the help of the magic energy and the golden plum bottle, he successfully cultivated the heavenly demon Zen seal method. Although the heavenly demon Zen seal method has the words heavenly demon, it is a Buddhist practice. In the subsequent practice process, he actually triggered the previously obtained life and death sutra. This life and death sutra is also a spiritual practice. Through the spirit to temper the body, let your body become immortal. Practice the life and death sutra. First, you have to practice the birth and death grinding wheel. Just now, Su Chen was thinking about practicing the birth and death grinding wheel. But maybe the mental strength is not enough, so the life and death grinding wheel, when it condensed at the end, directly broke. Continue to practice the heavenly demon Zen seal method and improve your mental power. Maybe you will have a chance to condense it into the life and death grinding wheel. Su Chen thought to himself. He straightened his body and slowly stood up. Suddenly, he showed a happy look on his face, because he found that his spirit was not at all sluggish now, but he felt a sense of mental clarity. Just now, I failed to condense the life and death grinding wheel. According to reason, my spirit shouldn't be like this. Su Chen immediately found that his mental power had increased a lot. He stepped out of the cultivation cave. In the headmaster's hall. Headmaster, we found the whereabouts of the shadow assassin. When Su Chen came to the headmaster's hall, Cui Wu came to report. We found the shadow assassin. Su Chen was delighted. In this way, Yuan Suan's identity can be arranged. Su Chen waved his hand. Yuan Suan's figure walked out of the dark. Find the shadow assassin and kill him. You are the shadow assassin. Join my Shan sect. Cui Wu, you cooperate with him. Su Chen said to Yuan Suan and Cui Wu. It's the headmaster. It's the master. The two received the order. Cui Wu, who did not ask why, he was now loyal to Su Chen. Su Chen's orders were above all else. The two quickly took orders and left. Not long after the two left, the fat man came to Su Chen. Brother, you have been in seclusion these days. Wu Yao has already won over a lot of people, and he will probably come over soon. The fat man said. After dealing with the people from Xiangquan sect, Su Chen wanted to deal with Wu Yao. But when he was practicing, something was triggered, so he announced that he would be in seclusion for a few days. Let this group of people live a few more days. Of course, he also wanted to see who would be won over. When the fat man reported, Wu Yao also got the news that Su Chen came out of seclusion and immediately began to organize people and headed towards the direction of the headmaster hall. Su Chen was in seclusion these days. Wu Yao seemed to be very confident. He was in the dark before, but now he is in the open. As for why no one dealt with him, Cui Wuhu and Li Xiangxing were told by Su Chen not to ask. Li Xiangxing didn't go back to Shan sect during this period. Cui Wuhu led people to look for the traces of the shadow assassin. Some Shanman disciples saw the elders heading towards the Shanman Master Hall. Sensing that things were not simple, they followed to the Master Hall. Inside the Master Hall, a disciple entered the hall. Master, Elder Wu Yao is coming to the Master Hall with 30 people. The disciple bowed and said, "Let's go and see how Wu Yao died." A cold light flashed in Su Chen's eyes. A cold murderous intent permeated his body. To resist foreign aggression, we must stabilize the internal affairs. Although Shanman was changed before, there was no major change. This time, he wanted to eliminate them all. After Su Chen stepped out of the hall, Wu Yao had already appeared outside the Master Hall with a group of people. Seeing Su Chen stepping out of the Master Hall, these people stopped. "Master, you are out of retreat. We have been waiting for you for a long time." Wu Yao spoke first when he saw Su Chen. "Are you talking to me? I don't think I summoned you to the Master Hall. Do you know what the consequences of your actions are?" Su Chen glanced at Wu Yao and then looked at the 30 people behind Wu Yao. Among these people, some of them agreed with Su Chen to become the master of Shan sect under the contact of Li Xiangxing. Unexpectedly, now driven by interests, they want to replace Su Chen. When Su Chen looked at them, they couldn't help but tremble. Su Chen's tyranny is well known in Shan sect, and his lackers Cui Wuhu and Li Xiangxing have killed many people. Seeing Su Chen, he actually ignored himself like this. He said coldly, "Su Chen, we are here today to remove you from the position of master. Do you also agree with Elder Wu?" Su Chen's eyes were cold, flashing with blood, as if he would bite people at any time. "Su Chen, now that the Shan sect is about to expand, you are still too young to grasp it. We hope that someone like Elder Wu who can keep things stable can lead our Shan sect." Under Su Chen's bloodthirsty eyes, one person said tremblingly, "Now that they are here, there is no way back." "Really?" Su Chen sneered. He looked at Wu Yao. "I don't know where you get your confidence from, but those who are my enemies have no chance of survival." At this time, Su Chen touched his palm behind him, and the rain knife appeared. Then he slashed at Wu Yao with a knife. With the help of the Xiangquan sect, Wu Yao's strength has entered the peak of soul refining. Of course, this kind of peak soul refining has an unstable foundation. He didn't take it seriously at all. The knife came out like drizzle, continuously. Wu Yao didn't expect Su Chen to start fighting, as soon as he said. Of course, he has always been on guard against Su Chen in his heart. Seeing Su Chen take action, a ferocious look appeared on his face. He has not fought since he entered the peak of soul refining. It's just right to use Su Chen to show his strength. The ki in his body surged, and there was blood in the ki. He clenched his fists and attacked Su Chen. He wanted to use violence to shatter Su Chen's long sword. But when he punched, he found that his fist force was split by the long sword, and then the sword flashed. Puff. His whole body was directly split in two by Su Chen's Xiaoyu sword, and blood spurted out. Some people who followed Wu Yao opened their eyes wide. They didn't expect it to be like this. They knew Wu Yao's strength. He had recently broken through to the peak of soul refining. But in Su Chen's hands, he couldn't withstand a single sword. Panic in his heart. "Master, spare me." One of them knelt on the ground and wanted to ask Su Chen for mercy. "I said you have no chance of survival." Su Chen's voice was cold, like the god of death, echoing in their ears. "You want us to die? Then we will kill you first, and then surround and kill him together." Stimulated by death, some people went crazy. They wanted to surround and kill Su Chen. Puff. He suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. Then he fell to the ground. As he sprayed blood, others also began to spray blood, but the blood they sprayed was black. They were poisoned. In the blink of an eye, all the people who came fell in a pool of blood. Get rid of these bodies. I don't want to see blood stains outside the master's hall. And all the people related to them, get rid of them. Also, these people have been jumping around for so long. Didn't others see it? Get rid of them too. Chen said coldly to the fat man beside him. Hearing this, the fat man was shocked. This means that they will be punished together. Now, except for Cui Woohoo and Li Xiangxing, there may be no elders left in Shanmen. Chapter 246, Zuan Tower, to take over Lingnan County, Lingnan Prefecture, Li Wen's residence. Jinga, I have found out the reason why Wen Yifan left. He was poisoned, and he must find a master of the 6 difficulties of heaven and man to cure it, so he returned to the capital. Li Wei said in a deep voice. I didn't expect that Chen could poison a master of the 3 difficulties of heaven and man. Hearing her father's words, Li Muang's face showed shock. Chen has Miran Qingchen's help behind him, so it's not difficult to do this. I just didn't expect that he could mobilize such a person to serve him. Li Wei said in a deep voice. Now the Shan sect has swallowed up several major forces in succession, and it is vaguely becoming the largest gang in Lingnan Prefecture. I believe someone should take action against them. Li Muang said. Although Chen has the help of Changhan Palace, Zhenfengxiu Tower, and people in the dark, other forces have now sensed the threat. It is impossible to sit and wait for death. They can't deal with others. Can they deal with Shan sect? At this time, an old man who looks like a butler rushed in from outside. Master, miss, there is a message from Shanman that Chen, who had been in seclusion for a few days, has appeared. The elder Wu Yaod of the previous headmaster peak wanted to force Chen to withdraw from the position of Shanman headmaster, but was killed by Shanman headmaster Chen with one sword. The 30 Shanman elders who followed him were all poisoned to death. And those who were related to these 30 elders, as well as those elders who did not come out to stop them, were all eliminated. The old housekeeper said this, and took a deep breath. Li Wei and Li Muang also took a deep breath. When they heard this, there was a look of horror in their eyes. This Chen's murderous nature is too strong. This Shanman killed like this, and all the old generation of Shanman warriors were killed. This is pure martial arts to subdue people. By the way, how strong is Chen? Li Wei asked. Previously, it was found that Wu Yaod seemed to have stepped into the peak of soul refining with the help of drugs. The old housekeeper said. Killed with one sword, this Chen's combat power may have reached the unity of spirit and soul. Li Wei said. Have Li Xiangxing and Cui Woohoo from Shanman appeared? Li Muang asked. These 2 people are Chen's people. No, Li Xiangxing is outside, and Cui Woohoo seems to be tracking down the shadow assassin, said the housekeeper. It seems that Chen has known about this for a long time. This time he killed people directly, to establish his supreme position in Shanmen. Chen is more terrible than we thought, Li Muang said. She thought that the cause of this change might be Chen's secret father. It won't take long for Shanmen to become the #1 force in Lingnan County. You should cooperate with him more, Li Muang said. I should also meet with Chen. Maybe we can cooperate, so that I can make my situation in Zuan Tower better. Li Muang thought to herself. She became the 3rd princess of Zuan Tower. She also has the opportunity to become the owner of Zuan Tower. But Zuan Tower also has the eldest princess and the 2nd princess. These 2 have a deep foundation in Zuan Tower, which is not comparable to her who has just become the 3rd princess. So she has to seek external power. This time she returned to Lingnan County. The first is to let her father switch to the 7th prince. The second is to see if she can find some allies in Lingnan County to expand her own foundation. Sometimes, alliances are the best foundation for increasing the strength of one's side. At this time, the man holding a bamboo sword who followed Li Muang earlier came in. Miss, there is a secret letter from the owner of the building. He handed a letter to Li Muang. Li Muang took the letter, tore it open to check, and then frowned. The owner of Zuan Tower sent a message, asking her to subdue the forces of Lingnan County and unify Lingnan County, and the 2nd princess in the building is on the way. Why does the master want to take over Lingnan County at this time? Li Muang frowned and was also very confused. Once she did this, she would collide with Shanman. Su Chen dared to poison Wen Yifan, and he would not care about their Zuanayan Tower at all. Changhan Palace. Mei Zuanshan was in a pavilion, playing the piano. The sound of the piano was solemn and murderous, and a wave of killing intent was set off around. A figure came to the courtyard in this murderous intent. Mei Zuanshan stopped what she was doing. Miss, the murderous intent in you is getting more and more profound. Meng Shentang said. Then why did Wen Yifan suddenly leave Lingnan County? Wen Yifan's sudden departure attracted the attention of many people. You will be surprised to hear that Wen Yifan was poisoned and returned to the capital to ask for help to detoxify. Meng Shentang said. Wen Yifan, a person with the strength of the three difficulties of heaven and man, was poisoned by someone, and the person who poisoned him was so powerful. Mei Zuanshan's expression condensed. Do you know who poisoned him? Mei Zuanshan asked. I didn't know before, but I know today. You will never think that the person who poisoned him might be sent by Su Chen. Meng Shentang said. Su Chen, does he have a poison expert around him? Is there no such expert around Chen? Mei Zuanshan couldn't help but say. Although Mei Zuanshan and Chen don't get along, they have a deep friendship. She knows Chen's background well. There is no master of poison who can attack the three difficulties of heaven and man. Su Chen, it's not that simple, miss. In addition to cooperating with us, isn't she also cooperating with Hanyu sect? He dares to cooperate with these people. He must have his own trump card. This time he not only showed his trump card, but also thoroughly cleaned up Shanman. His methods are not ordinary. When Meng Shentang said this, he told the story of more than 30 people from Shanman being poisoned. 30 people were poisoned silently. He guessed that the person who poisoned was sent by Su Chen. Why did he let Wen Yifan leave? Mei Zuanshan asked. He cooperated with Li Wei, the left governor. You also know that Wen Yifan intended to kill Li Wei before. Meng Shentang said. Su Chen has cooperated with quite a lot of people. Li Wei's daughter Li Muang is the third princess of Zuanayan Tower. This guy may also cooperate with Zuanayan Tower in the future. Since Su Chen has shown a trump card, we don't have to slow down. We have dealt with Cheyenne Villa. The only thing left is the Red Moon sect. If we deal with the Red Moon sect, our first purpose of coming here will be accomplished. The fourth prince can give an explanation to the seventh prince. We should also do our thing. Mei Zuanshan said. I will deal with the Red Moon sect right now, but I have searched for a long time for the place where the golden plum bottle appeared at that time, but I still can't find it. Meng Shentang said. Uncle Meng, we don't need to check this. Let Shanman check it at that time. Maybe he still knows something. Mei Zuanshan said. Shanman. Hearing this, Meng Shentang was stunned. What is the purpose of Zihanyu's cooperation with Su Chen? It should not only help him grab territory, but it may be to help Su Chen expand Shanman, and then let Su Chen help them find things. Mei Zuanshan said. Shan sect has expanded and has many disciples. What is inconvenient to check? Chapter 247, Xiangqun sect, Beijizan. Hearing what Mei Zuanshan said, Meng Shentang's eyes lit up. Then I'll go deal with the Red Moon sect first. After saying that, he turned and left. Su Chen, Lingnan County is not simple. You want to become the largest sect in Lingnan County. The risk is a bit big. I don't know if you can bear it. Mei Zuanshan murmured. She didn't get along with Su Chen for too long, but they were harmonious and could become friends. If the Qinglang Temple is in a state of anxiety, this state will not last long. Once the affiliated forces of the Qinglang Temple in the 9 northern counties are cleaned up, those who are now outside the Qinglang Temple may evacuate. What will the 9 northern counties look like after the evacuation? Mei Zuanshan said in a deep voice. At this time, a woman in black robes appeared in front of Mei Zuanshan. Miss, people from the Xiangqun sect appeared in Lingnan County. The black-robed woman said. Xiangqun sect, Zuanayan Tower, Daomeng. Mei Zuanshan thought of the other two forces in succession. Daomeng was in contact with Wen Yifan. Now Wen Yifan has left, and Guanxian Chao of the Sword Alliance has also left, but his eldest brother Luo Xianju, the Sword Tyrant, is still in Lingnan County. Luo Xianju practices Guan Xian Chao's Xian Luo soul chasing / a very domineering sword technique that chases souls and lives with one sword. He is very cold. Luo Xianju is Guan Xian Chao's eldest disciple, and it is impossible for him to stay here for no reason. Watch the people of Xiangquan sect and see if they have any moves. Yes. The woman in black left quickly. At this time, outside the Lingnan County government, in a slightly dim cave, a masked man was speaking. Have you found out who ruined my plan? Subordinates, we have checked here. Maybe it is Shan sect? A black-clothed man below him replied. Shan sect, the Shan sect, that has expanded rapidly with the help of some forces. Is there a poison master in this sect? Hearing this, the masked man asked with some doubts. Yes, I got the news that there was an internal conflict in Shanman. The leader of Shanman killed the leader, and the rest were all poisoned to death. I checked Lingnan County, but didn't find a poison expert, so I investigated Shanman. The leader of Shanman, Chen, is involved with Li Wei, the left governor. When Yifan wants to attack Li Wei, it's possible that Li Wei took the initiative and found someone to force Wen Yifan away. The person below reported back. Li Wei, Li Muang's father, Zuan Tower, has already surrendered to the 7th prince, and Li Wei also secretly surrendered a few days ago. He is one of us. In this case, let's put Wen Yifan's matter aside for the time being. The masked old man said. How is the Qinglang Society's matter? Then the masked man continued to ask. The mission of the Qinglang Society has been completed. Originally, I was going to use the Xiangxia League to kill the Qinglang Society's people who were going there, causing a confrontation between the two sides. But the Qinglang Society took the initiative and killed Liu Qingfeng, the head of Xiangxia League's Xianmu Hall, and used Xiangxia League to successfully kill Mengkua Yilan, so I didn't attack the Qinglang Society's people. The Qinglang Society is responsible for the North County, and the Eriu Hall heads Yu Zhengwo and A Fei, who we paid attention to before, may have reached the realm of heaven and man. He killed Liu Qingfeng, the head of Xiangxia League's Xianmu Hall. The people below immediately replied. This Zhu Zhengwo's methods are extraordinary. What about Huang Furong and Gong Shenzan? Huang Furong was killed by Zhao Qiushu head-on. Gong Shenzan was also killed by someone who contacted me, the head of Senai Hall. I checked the bodies of Gong Shenzan and his guards in the courtyard. This person's swordsmanship is fierce, and his strength may be in the realm of heaven and man. The person who came told the situation of the other two people. We can increase cooperation with them. The Qinglang Temple will not be surrounded for too long. Once the siege lasts too long, the Qinglang Temple may counterattack. Also, the secret sect should be moving, and the masters of the sect will also appear. So let the people from all parties do the clearing work as soon as possible. As long as the forces affiliated with the Qinglang Temple are destroyed and occupied, even if the Qinglang Temple is relieved, it will not be enemies with so many forces at once. Anything else? Sir, the young master of the Xiangquan sect came to Lingnan County. He should have ideas about Lingnan County, and the second princess of Zuanayan Tower is also on the way. I guess they all want to take over Lingnan County. Lingnan County has been divided up. Are they here to pick the fruits now? This is Lingnan County's own business. It has nothing to do with us. How are you investigating the Xian'an pavilion behind the Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower? The masked man asked. Still no news. The visitor replied. This Xian'an pavilion is a bit mysterious. Previously, I wanted to use Wen Yifan to explore the bottom line of this Xian'an pavilion, but I didn't expect something to go wrong. It seems that I still have to go to Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower in person. The masked man said. Sir, are you going to show up in person? Hearing this, the people below were stunned. The matter at Qinglang Temple is about to end, and I should also show up. Also, you find a chance to meet that Chen. He may be able to know some news about Xian'an pavilion behind Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. The masked man then waved his hand and asked the people below to leave. Yes. The people below withdrew from the cave. The masked man also walked out of the cave and headed towards the direction of Lingnan County City. At this time, in Lingnan County Mansion, in a house, in a pavilion in the garden, a young man wearing a black robe with gold edges was sitting in the pavilion. The young man had a heroic look between his eyebrows, and he exuded a kind of aura of concentrated spirit. At this moment, he was holding a book and reading it attentively. Young sect master, the Shan sect failed. Yan Kui and his men should have been killed by the Shan sect master Su Chen's men. A burly giant came to the young man and said. This young man was Beijizhen, the young sect master of Xiangquan sect. The giant beside him was Zhao Zuanshan, one of the 3 guardians of Xiangquan sect. Shan sect master Su Chen, a man who is rumored to have used external forces to rise to power and expand the sect. How strong is he? Beijizhen put down the book in his hand and asked in a deep voice. Although it was rumored that Su Chen used external forces, Beijizhen did not dare to underestimate Su Chen. He killed Wu Yao with one sword. His realm did not break through the soul refining, but his combat power was in the unity of spirit and soul. There is also a poison expert beside him. This person is more powerful than I thought. The giant Zhao Zuanshan said. It seems that I have to meet this Su Chen. Beijizhen stood up and said. Young sect master, there is a poison expert next to Su Chen. Go. Poison is not that useful to me. Beijizhen said. He swallowed some poisons in big mouthfuls, and the extremely evil blood in his body could dissolve them. So he was very confident. Chapter 248, Zhao Zuanshan pays respect to the mountain. Yuan follows the clouds out. Young master, the second princess of Zuanayan Tower, Li Shiring, came to Lingnan County. She must have some ideas about Lingnan County. Zhao Zuanshan said. Didn't the owner of Zuanayan Tower send his 3rd disciple Li Muang to Lingnan County? Why did he send Li Shiring? Li Shiring is good at controlling others. It seems that she wants to control Su Chen of Shanmen. But they may underestimate Su Chen. Beijizhen shook his head. Su Chen relied on external forces. Who did he rely on? Mirren Qingchen, Mei Zuanshan, and Zihan Yu in the dark. Among these 3 people, Zihan Yu rarely shows up. But she is definitely a beauty who can overwhelm the country. Su Chen can take the initiative in front of these 3 people, which shows that he has a strong resistance to beauty. It is probably difficult for Li Shiring to take down Su Chen. Suddenly, he was stunned. In addition to Li Shiring, there is also Li Muang. He has seen Li Muang before. She has a beautiful face. Li Muang is indeed extraordinary in appearance. The 2 of them took action, which is to completely take down Su Chen. Send me an invitation to Su Chen. I want to meet the headmaster of the Shan sect. Beijizhen said to Zhao Zuanshan beside him. I will go to Shan sect in person. Zhao Zuanshan said. The 2 dead were his subordinates. He would not kill Su Chen this time, but he would teach Su Chen a lesson. Beijizhen glanced at Zhao Zuanshan, understood his thoughts, but did not say anything. Zhao Zuanshan was going to pay respect to the mountain. As long as he was not too outrageous, his safety would not be a problem. Moreover, although Zhao Zuanshan only had one difficulty of heaven and man, with the strength of his physical body, he could fight against 2 difficulties of heaven and man. Inside Shan sect, Zihan Yu attacked 3 sects in a row. Su Chen looked at the information reported in front of him, and his pupils suddenly shrank. There are 10 major sects in Lingnan County. Qian sect was annexed by Shan sect. Zuki sect was destroyed by Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Chiayu sect and Qian Villa. Lingayu sword sect destroyed by Jihuayao Shenzhen. And Zihan Yu destroyed Genjian sect. Together with their Shan sect, there are already 7 major forces. Now he has eliminated the remaining 3 major forces. In other words, Shan sect has now nominally unified the entire 10 major sects. What does Zihan Yu want to do? Among these 3 major sects, Lingnan sect, Liquan Mountain, and Qinglang Temple can have nothing to do with each other. Su Chen said in his heart. Is this to help me become the number 1 sect in Lingnan County? It seems that next, I have to do something. I don't know what you want me to do. Su Chen's eyes flashed. For the current Shan sect, in the eyes of outsiders, there is a fatal flaw, that is, the lack of masters. It is simply impossible to control the other 7 major forces he occupies. Once someone pries them, these people will rebel, and the current situation of Shan sect will fall apart. Castle in the air. 5 Poison Boy. Go and leave some elders of these sects, and secretly poison them all to control them. After controlling them, tell them not to spread the news. If they spread the news, their clan will be exterminated. Su Chen said. The figure of the 5 Poison Boy disappeared in the headmaster's hall. Su Chen has all the means and experts. After the personnel come out, he will slowly gather these forces. He will subdue the 7 major forces and make them the 7 external halls of Shanman. At this time, Cui Woohoo and Yuan Suan appeared at the gate of the mountain. Cui Woohoo is Su Chen's confidant. Yuan Suan was dressed in black and wearing a bamboo hat. His face could not be seen clearly, but the cold air on his body could be felt by people far away. It seems that our Shanman has another expert. The headmaster is really not an ordinary person. At this time, a disciple spoke up. Yes, after the headmaster took over the Shan sect, our Shan sect's momentum is unmatched in Lingnan County. If it continues to expand like this, our Shan sect will have a place in the 9 northern counties. Some old elders dared to cause trouble to the headmaster. They really deserve to die and overestimated their own abilities. It is also fortunate that they overestimated their own abilities and provoked the headmaster so that we can have a chance to come to the fore. As long as we practice hard, we can show our skills. This is what we want for the Shan sect. Some disciples spoke up one after another. All of them looked at the headmaster's hall, and their eyes were full of reverence. Not long after Cui Woohoo brought Yuan Suan into the headmaster's hall, the headmaster's hall issued an edict. The internal structure of Shan sect changed. 3 deputy heads, 5 elders, and 8 inner halls were established under the headmaster of Shan sect. Other positions such as outer and inner gate deacons remained unchanged. In addition, the inner disciples of Shanman remain unchanged, and all true disciples become inner disciples. Only when the outer disciples reach the level of refining spirit can they become inner disciples. True disciples need to be accepted by the whole master or above to become disciples. Not long after this decree was issued, Yuan Suan became one of the 5 elders of Shanman. After the 2 decrees were issued, the first decree did not cause much shock. All the elders died, and there will definitely be changes this time. It was just that for the second information, Yuan Suan became one of the 5 elders of Shanman, and many people were surprised. But it was soon reported that Yuan Suan was a master invited back from outside by Cui Woohoo, and his strength was in the realm of heaven and man. When this news came out, the entire Shanman was shocked. Heaven and man realm, Shanman has been established for so many years. I'm afraid that only the first Shanman master has reached the realm of heaven and man, and the others have never been out of the realm of heaven and man. Now Shanman actually has a master in the realm of heaven and man. Now Shanman has confidence. Although Lingnan County had 10 major sects and several major families before, no one had entered the heavenly man realm. Therefore, Lingnan County was the weakest among the entire 9 northern counties. Now, I didn't expect that their Shan sect also had a master of the heavenly man realm. Outside the Shan gate, King Khan Fist Zhao Zuanshan appeared at the Shan gate. I'm Zhao Zuanshan from the Xiangquan sect, and I come to pay my respects to Master Su. Zhao Zuanshan handed the visiting card in his hand to the gatekeeper disciple of the Shan gate. The gatekeeper didn't know who Zhao Zuanshan was, but he knew that the Xiangquan sect was a giant level force in the 9 northern counties. Please wait, I will report to the master immediately. The disciple turned around quickly and headed for the master's hall. Master, Zhao Zuanshan from the Xiangquan sect came to pay his respects. The disciple reported after entering. Xiangquan sect, Zhao Zuanshan, I thought it was Beijizan, please let him in. Su Chen ordered. Master, this time the other party may not have good intentions. Let me go meet him first. The people of Xiangquan sect were killed by them. Now the other party is paying homage to the mountain. It is not a kind intention. So Yuan Suan and the hall said. Then Elder Yuan, you go to meet Zhao Zuanshan from Xiangquan sect. Su Chen nodded. If you want to become a big sect, you will not tolerate the other party being presumptuous in the master's hall. When the other party enters Shan Gate, you should put a certain amount of pressure on him and show the strength of Shan Gate. In this way, it can not only deter the other party, but also enhance the momentum of the disciples of the mountain gate. Outside Shan Gate, Zhao Zuanshan was a little unhappy. He was a member of Xiangquan sect. In the 9 northern counties, when they heard that they were Xiangquan sect, they should have politely led him into the mountain gate first. But now the other party asked him to wait outside this gate. This is disrespectful to their Xiangquan sect. After meeting, we must let Su Chen and Shan sect feel the majesty of Xiangquan sect. Zhao Zuanshan suppressed his anger. At this moment, his mind suddenly moved. He looked towards the Shan gate. A young man in a light blue brocade robe walked out of the Shan gate. As soon as the young man appeared, Zhao Zuanshan felt a chilling pressure sweeping over him. Chapter 249. Suppression at the first sight. Money helps. Zhao Zuanshan was stunned. How could there be such a master in Shan sect? I'm Yuan Suan, the elder of Shan sect. You are from Xiangquan sect and want to see our headmaster, Yuan Suan said while looking at Zhao Zuanshan outside the mountain gate. At the moment of speaking, his figure flashed and appeared in front of Zhao Zuanshan. His aura surged, and the strength of Shan Renanan burst out. He did not burst out all his strength. The strength of Shan Rensanan joining Shan sect would be a bit too incredible. The strength of Shan Renanan burst out. For a time, a terrifying aura spread. Some disciples outside Shan sect, under this aura, felt palpitations and looked at Yuan Suan in horror. This was the elder newly appointed by the headmaster. His aura suppressed them so much that they could not move, which was a bit terrifying. You Xiangquan sect, you made trouble in my Shan sect before, and you came to pay homage to me. I really want to see the strength of your Xiangquan sect. Yuan Suan's palm turned red. Cinnabar palm. A palm went towards Zhao Zuanshan. This Zhao Zuanshan's realm was at the first level of heaven and man, and his physical strength was not bad. Yuan Suan had just come to this world and wanted to know the strength of some strong people in this world. Zhao Zuanshan saw Yuan Suan attack directly. Anger surged in his eyes, and in an instant a wave of energy surged out of him. The energy of the first level of heaven and man, and he raised his arm. A strong force surged in his arm and punched out. The punch was as fast as lightning. Blast towards the palm attacking Yuan Suan. Originally, he also wanted to see how Shanman dared to kill his people. Now the people of Shanman took action first. Although the opponent's energy was higher than his horizontal training method was not ordinary, even if it was the second level of heaven and man. So what? I will still fight. Bang. The attacks of the two collided with each other, and a low sound came from the place where they fought. Then a wave of air swept out from the place where they fought, and blocked Yuan Suan's attack with one blow. Zhao Zuanshan's face became ferocious, and he swung his fist to attack Yuan Suan. But Yuan Suan's figure turned into a bloody light, and disappeared in front of him. When he appeared again, he was already behind him, with his palm raised. He clapped his hands and slapped them in an instant, and a palm was directly printed on the opponent's body. The opponent sensed Yuan Suan's attack, and in a hurry, he quickly raised a key force to block Yuan Suan's attack. But under Yuan Suan's clapping, his hastily raised key shield was instantly shattered, and his palm was directly printed on his back, and a key force instantly poured into the opponent's body. Roar. Zhao Zuanshan roared, and the key and blood in his body surged wildly to resist the key force that poured into his body. But at this time, Yuan Suan's palm became red, and slapped it again. This time, the palm was burning, and directly printed on the opponent's body. Suddenly, a burnt smell came from him. Boom. His body was blown away directly. A burning palm print appeared behind him. A fire poison rushed into his body, burning his meridians, but this fire poison only bombarded his meridians, but did not flow into his heart, so he was not in any danger. If the headmaster didn't want to see you, you would die today. Come with me to see the headmaster. Yuan Suan looked at Zhao Zuanshan and said. Zhao Zuanshan's internal ki power had just reached the first level of heaven and man, and his physical strength and defense were very strong. He first clapped his hands to target the opponent's ki power, and then used the palm method of Zasha palm, which was specially used to injure the physical body, to injure the opponent and break his physical body, so that he could injure the opponent so quickly. Of course, if he kills the opponent, even if Yuan Suan does not explode the strength of the third level of heaven and man, there are many ways to kill him. Yuan Suan has learned a lot of martial arts, and he has almost brought all the martial arts he has learned to the extreme. It is not terrible for a person to master multiple martial arts, but it is extremely terrible if he can make full use of each martial art. He has collected so many secrets from many families, and his moves can change at will. Such a person will quickly make a way to crack the opponent's martial arts. Zhao Zuanshan looked at Yuan Suan and said, Master Su, I'm gone. Our Xiangquan sect's young master wants to meet your Master Su. This is the invitation from our young master. Zhao Zuanshan raised his hand, and the invitation flew into Yuan Suan's hand, and then went directly down the mountain. Without any stop, Yuan Suan took the invitation, and went to Shangate. Outside Shangate, seeing Yuan Suan take action, and bursting out of breath, they felt palpitations. It was not until Yuan Suan and Zhao Zuanshan left, that they recovered their minds and breathed deeply. Then their eyes were full of heat. Shangate had such a strong master. How could Shangate not prosper? In their hearts, they could not help but admire the master again. A strong man who could subdue the difficulties of heaven and man. Who can compare to this ability? In the headmaster's hall, Yuan Suan handed over the visiting card of the young master of Xiangquan sect. Zhao Zuanshan should have used the technique created by the young master of Xiangquan sect to enter the realm of heaven and man. He has very little energy in the realm of heaven and man, and his physical strength is strong. When fighting with him, I suppressed my strength to the level of heaven and man. I took action first, took advantage of his energy weakness, and combined with my technique, broke his physical body. With his strength, he can fight ordinary warriors of the two difficulties of heaven and man. Yuan Suan said. Is that so? This Xiangquan sect cannot be underestimated, but what does the young master of Xiangquan sect mean by asking me? Su Chen opened Beijisen's visiting card. You have to come to the mountain to visit me tomorrow. Su Chen frowned slightly. Beijisen is not a simple person. He can be said to be a genius. And he has been in the dark. Now he wants to visit him. Some things he didn't expect. Let's meet Beijisen tomorrow and see what his intentions are. Su Chen couldn't think of it, and he didn't think about it. Fatty, how is the business layout of the bank in Lingnan County? Is Li Wei still cooperating? Su Chen asked later. He helped Li Wei get rid of Wen Yifan temporarily, and now Li Wei is the only official figure in Lingnan County. Many things can help them. Very cooperative. I'm doing it very smoothly. But the people of the Money Gang have arrived in Lingnan County, and I got the news that the Money Gang will set up the first bank in 3 days. The fat man said in a deep voice. The first bank? Is it silent, or did they hire people? Su Chen asked. Not hiring people is very low-key. The fat man frowned and said, according to reason, the Money Gang, a force like this, should have hired many people to open a bank in Lingnan County. But they didn't hire anyone, but secretly announced that they were going to open the bank in 3 days. They want to see who will go to congratulate them on the opening of the bank. Su Chen said coldly. On the day of the opening, Fatty, you go there on behalf of Shanman, and go see who went to the opening ceremony. Su Chen said. Among those who went, there must be a group of people who have already turned to the Money Gang, so we need to pay attention. Yes. Fatty bowed and left the hall. Master, do I still need to recruit people? After Fatty left, Cui Woohoo stepped forward and said, no recruitment for the time being, you should assist Wu Du Tongzi and finish the things he has in his hands as soon as possible. There will be things for you to do later. Su Chen said. After unifying so many forces, Zihan Naiu and Mei Zuanshan should also look for him. He should be asked to find something. Chapter 250. Kroll Zuanai Ta, Li Shering, Lingnan County. In front of a dilapidated temple deep in a dense forest outside the West City, a sedan stopped in front of the dilapidated temple. The sedan was carried by 4 big men, with burly bodies and muscles as strong as bricks and stones. Next to the sedan were 2 girls wearing Blue Mountain clothes. The 2 girls had delicate features and were wearing palace clothes, but their bodies had not yet fully developed. They stood on both sides of the sedan. Second princess. The girl on the right lifted the curtain of the sedan. A woman with a curvy figure and straight and slender legs walked out of the sedan. The woman's lips were rosy and crystal, and she looked very attractive. There was a hint of tenderness between her eyebrows, which made people love and pity her. Are all the people here? The woman said to the girl next to her. Except for Lord Zhu, everyone else has arrived. The woman next to her hurriedly replied. Let's go. The woman led the 2 girls into the dilapidated temple. There were 4 people in the dilapidated temple at this time. One was dressed in black, holding a long sword without a scabbard in his hand. He was leaning against a pillar in the dilapidated temple and closing his eyes to rest. Not far from him sat an old man in a red robe. His eyes were gloomy, as if he could eat people's hearts. There was also a man in blue, who gave off a sense of thunder power. He seemed to be a practitioner of thunder attributed skills, with a burly figure and gloves on his arms. The last person was a woman with a scar on her face. Her eyes were grey, giving people a sense of lifelessness. There was nothing else on her, except the aura of death. But being able to stand here must be something extraordinary. The second princess is here. The man in blue felt the changes outside. His face lit up and he said. His eyes were looking towards the entrance of the ruined temple. The woman called the second princess walked into the ruined temple. Meet the second princess. The four of them saluted the visitor at the same time. We have to trouble you again this time. The woman said in a gentle voice. It is our honor to work for the second princess. The four said at the same time. This time I came to Lingnan County, mainly to help Zuan Tower unify the martial arts forces in Lingnan County. But now the martial arts forces in Lingnan County have been occupied by Shanmen. If we want to rule Lingnan County, we have to conquer Shanmen. Do you have any good ideas? The second princess said. From the conversation, it is known that the second princess is Li Shireng of Zuan Tower. Second princess, the strength of Shanmen is average, and the headmaster Su Chen is only at the soul refining realm, but he has the support of many Zuanshan of Changhan Palace and Mirren Chen of the princess. Did you clean up Shanmen yesterday? Now there should be no one on the Shanmen side to oppose him. As long as we take down the forces he controls, the second princess can easily take over Lingnan County. The man in blue said. They can take down these forces, which means they have the means to control these forces. We have no results from these forces. The red-robed old man retorted. Old Ghostly, are you going to take action against Su Chen? The blue-robed man looked at the red-robed old man and said. Hearing this, the red-robed old man did not respond to his words. To attack Su Chen would mean to attack many Zuanshan and Mirren Chen. He was not so stupid as to attack Su Chen. Watching the conversation between the few people, Li Shireng's expression did not change, but a trace of displeasure flashed in the depths of his eyes. At this moment, a man in blood-stained clothes walked in from outside. The blood-stained man was not tall, but the aura he exuded was extremely terrifying. As soon as he entered the ruined temple, the temperature in the temple dropped a lot. He carried a ghost-headed sword on his back, with runes engraved on the ghost head, emitting a cold aura. Seeing this blood-stained man, the other four people showed fear in their expressions. The blood-stained man did not look at the four people, but looked at Li Shireng. There was a blazing light flashing in his eyes, as if he wanted to swallow Li Shireng. Facing such a look, Li Shireng looked calm, and his body moved unconsciously, moving closer to the blood-stained man. Brother Zhu, why are you late? Li Shireng asked softly. A master of both heaven and man appeared in Shan sect, and injured Zhao Zuanshan of Xiangquan sect in a few moves. What? Upon hearing this, not only Li Shireng's expression changed, but everyone else's expression was shocked. A master of both heaven and man appeared in Shan sect, except for the newly appeared man in blood-stained clothes. The strength of the others was only at the level of unity of spirit and soul, and they were no match for him at all. You four continue to collect information about Su Chen, the second princess, and I still have some things to do. The man in blood-stained clothes said to the four people. Yes. The four people quickly left the ruined temple without staying here at all. As for what the man in blood-stained clothes was going to do, they all knew it. After the four people left, the man in blood-stained clothes reached out and hugged Li Shireng around the waist and walked out of the temple. Go straight to the sedan chair. Without avoiding anyone, a scene of singing and dancing appeared in the sedan chair. After a while, a scream suddenly came from the sedan chair. Then a body was thrown out of the sedan chair, and it was the man in blood-stained clothes from before. With the appearance of new prey, he is useless. By absorbing his power, my strength will be further improved. Bury his body, let's go. Li Shireng's voice rang out in the sedan chair. The two blue-shirted women beside the sedan chair quickly left with the body. The other four big men lifted the sedan chair and headed towards Lingnan County City. Lingnan County Mansion. Zhao Zuanshan had already returned. At this time, the power left by Yuan Suan in his body had been dissolved by Beijizhen. Young sect master, I'm embarrassed for you. Zhao Zuanshan said. This is nothing, you still have less ki in your body. If you encounter a general warrior with both heaven and man difficulties, you can compete with him with your physical strength. But this Yuan Suan is not ordinary, his ki is strong, and the palm he imprinted on you has the power to break the horizontal training body. If you want to block his power, your physical body needs to be strengthened. Beijing said. The opponent is strong and his body movements are very strange. I couldn't even use the boxing skills you taught me, young master. I will definitely be able to use them next time we meet. Zhao Zuanshan said. If a boxer loses, he still has to fight back with his fists. I don't care much about Yuan Suan. I'm curious about how Chen subdued such a master. There is no such master in Lingnan County or the 9 northern counties. He should not care about fame and fortune, but he showed up at this time and joined the Shangate. This Chen's methods are extraordinary. Tomorrow I want to see what kind of person this Chen is. I hope we can cooperate. After this turmoil in the 9 northern counties, it will not be peaceful. It needs some powerful allies to resist foreign forces. A gleam of light flashed in Beijing's eyes. Then he asked, someone from the money gang has arrived in Lingnan County. Go to the Golden Wind and Rain Tower and see if you can buy some information. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.